soon as a company called Tiger.
Here's a tiger right here. Here's a lion coming through. The king of the jungle.
That's not much of a
Hear me roar. Hey, did you lose on your Tim Hortons cup yesterday? Yeah, okay.
Sean won.
No, I lost. Remember, you rolled it up.
Oh, no. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, this is yours. This is here. You want it right now, or we're going to get it this afternoon? All right, here. Well, I'm not actually here this afternoon. But there we go. So,
you can
winner, chicken dinner.
You can still do it.
Well, no, I'm just going right up the street. I'm going to get my eyes checked. I see these charts a little bit better. You know, although maybe I shouldn't be going anywhere. But all right, it's midday madness. Let's throw it over to the guys. See you soon.
It was 2 minutes.
Where's the audio? What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade During the Midday. That right there is your boy Joey Options, and I'm Sharif. And we're gonna wait for everyone, like literally everyone, to come on over from the other chat. We're gonna close the other chat, and we're gonna shout out Kalua, Robbie V, Proper, Dang, Paradox. How about Juan Padilla? JF Trader, we got Pitchbull, we got Beer Producer, MB3, and Paul Van Azayana, Pickle Juice, Fiddlebeck, we got Yuh, and DJ Resky, Kassam, Palm Beach Peter. That's a sick name right there. There we go. Cigar Attache, hook me up. We got Joseph, we got the Skip Say, Liuvu, Raska, Smile, Stuart, Anish, Scalping, Why Not, X-Banes, we got Rock, Playa Bet A. Okay, I like that. Clutch, Mary, Big Farm, Big what? Big Finesse, okay. Jonathan, we got Super No, Yes World, Dixon, and Shadow Rap. How about Amy Tygar? Like the stock I'm in right now, baby. Havana Woody, the OG. Courtney Blake and Dwayne Diesel. I like that name, Dee. Shout out Dwayne Diesel. Blue Baron and Tiger, the Cosmic Dang, Cat and R. Williams. Shout out Kirk D. Felipe Lopez. We got Walter. We got Patrick Langwa. We got the OG himself, ADL. Adam DeLuce, baby. What up to the Piper and M. Mason, Venato, Trader Forever. Low IQ. I like that. And he spelt it EYE as well. Brandon and Normal Special. I remember that one from yesterday. Guap 10. And here we go. Last one. Just Living. He says, go Joe.
Yeah,
good morning.
Just Living. Yeah, good morning, everybody. Man, not much to really say here other than the market is really weak. There's some things that I was thinking about, or I was thinking about earlier that I want to go over later in the session, and that's just going to be turnaround signals, all right? And then we're going to look and identify them in history, and then kind of compare them to what we are seeing today. Sharif, we got a lesson, some options lessons here. If we can pull up my screen real quick. Just cooking up here in XPEV, worked out really well. We traded some hood this morning, which didn't. I'll go over that real quick as well. But we're going to send it over to Sharif. This is what we have. We only have about 5% left of this position in here. Cool. And then we just piece it out throughout the whole trade there. So nice look there on XPEV in play due to earnings. But before the lesson, Sharif, anything you would like to tell us?
We are looking at the following 7. So the bottom right-hand corner is QUBT, but that's not really unwatched. That's a holdover from yesterday. KBSX, a number 1 gapper in the market right now. Actually, that's incorrect. It's ADTX. This one broke down below VWAP and as such gave away its position as a number 1 gapper. It is trading below the volume weighted average price, which is about 2 1/3. I'm not going to be involved in this one until and if it gets above VWAP. ADTX looking really good right now. So it's holding the 10 exponential like a dang glove. It's on the way to break out 10. The high of the day is that 1004 area, and we're getting umpteen amount of higher lows showing buyer accumulation into that 10, what we could see possibly a flat top break, much in the same way as we saw with that 7 3/4, $8 area with higher lows, all the while building up for that big boy break, and you got that big boy break at that 1030 candle on ADTX, so that's on watch as well. BNZI up 30% coming into the volume weighted average price. A couple of bull flag continuations here. I perceive 1, 2, 3, 4 bull flags, with the 4th one now the longest of the 4. We'll see if this one wants to hold off that $140. That is where VWAP is at. HMR breaking down below VWAP. It's up 34 and change. It's going to have to get above there for me to trade it. BHAT. This one is doing things much like ADTX. BHAT, Joseph, on the way to $4. It's getting extended away from the 10. So strong is it at the moment. Just printed a new high day there. We're going to keep an eye out on this one. BHAT. Lucid as well. In play, it had a headline today getting, I don't know, the nod from some sort of rating agency. It doesn't matter. Both leg continuation. We're going to look for the hold above that 240 area, the volume weighted average price. And last and least right now, TIGR, the one I'm currently involved in, we're about 5-6 pennies out of the money. It broke down below VWAP. It's going to have to hold this area. My stop is already below that 70 penny area. Let's see what happens. Already starting off here with a possible L. Joseph, what do you got?
Hey, yeah, good stuff there. Again, we're going to go over some options talk, but this is what we got going on XPEV. We can pull up my screen here. We only have about 5% left, so we'll hold on to the remainder of this. The underlying is still down about 5.6% there, guys. So yeah, we'll continue to monitor, maybe get a new high and then get that final out because we are going to run out of shares. And Tammy from Bama, that's my mother's name. I'm glad that, that I'm a fan, or you're a favorite. So yeah, very nice, kind words from you. All right, guys, let's get right into this. We're going to talk about some call and put walls. If you joined us during the morning session, I identified, hey, we can use these levels to dictate what might happen during the week's trading activity. All right, so let's get right into it. In options trading, call walls and put walls refer to price levels where there is a significant concentration of open interest in call or put options. These levels often act as support or resistance in the market due to hedging activity by market makers and traders. All right. Understanding call walls and put walls. So a call wall, a price level where there's an extreme high amount of call open interest, or as we like to refer to here as OI. So if I say OI, it's going short for open interest. It acts as resistance because many traders have bet that the price will not go beyond this level. And what I was referring to today in the Qs is that you can see at 485, we had high levels of OI on both sides of the chain, so that being the call and the put wall, and then we have now rejected it and head south of that, all right? Market makers may sell calls at this level and hedge by shorting the underlying asset, reinforcing the resistance, okay? So put wall, a price level where there is an extreme high amount of put open interest, the inverse of the call, all right? Acts as support because many traders have bet that the price will not drop below this level, so that's where you get that support effect. Market makers may sell puts at this level and hedge by buying the underlying asset, reinforcing support. All right, so example, if a stock is trading at $95 and there is a massive call wall at 100, price may struggle to break above 100 due to resistance created by hedging dynamics and options positioning. Thank you. What is open interest and how it relates to call and put walls? So open interest, or OI, is the total number of outstanding options contracts that have not yet been closed or exercised. High OI at a certain strike price, that level is significant because many traders have placed bets or trades at that level, all right? High OI in calls, possible resistance, a call wall. High OI in puts, possible support, a put wall. So how OI affects price movement? So if open interest decreases, it means positions are being closed. Market sentiment is weakening at that level, and that's a positive sign, all right? So I want to use this as an example. We're going to go over, I just want to, before we look at it from a visual standpoint, is that with Nvidia's earnings, you've seen that we had massive levels of open interest at a specific strike price. Now, if those were to be lifted, it almost gives the underlying a path of least resistance, all right? So now that we have those resistance at those levels, it's now gone, and then it's easier for it to trade above those levels. So example, if the open interest at the $100 strike for calls is large, market makers may hedge by shorting the stock at price as price approaches $100, making it harder to break through. If open interest at the 90 strike for puts is massive, market makers may hedge by buying the stock near 90, creating even more support. Okay, so now this is going to be the example on NVDA. And why couldn't we breach $140 during the hour after the earnings announcements and even during? Well, look at the size here. So if we times 97,000 by 100, I don't even want to do that math on my head. I'm pretty sure it's 9.7 million. That's quite a bit. So notionally, that's a lot of money. And the exact same thing here on the put side. So what we have is just a double wall, and what we like to call that is classify it as is options pinning. Okay, so you can't go higher because there's so much liquidity that needs to be absorbed. You need a participant large enough in order to acquire all of those potential contracts and our shares, and then make it easier for the underlying asset to climb higher, all right? So really focus on this, especially during earnings, right? If you're looking for the rejection of specific levels, and even from a weekly standpoint, go up, open your options chain, be like, hey, what is the market telling me this weekend? And with that, you can identify support and resistance zones, and that way you can construct trades based off of that. So you can see 97,000 here, 85,000 here, and this even grew up to 130,000, so that's quite a bit. All right, so 3, large call and put walls impact the market sentiment. A large call wall, bearish/neutral bias, indicates strong resistance. Traders expect price not to break above this level. Market makers hedge by shorting the underlying asset, reinforcing resistance. If price breaks above major call wall, market makers must cover their shorts, leading to a potential gamma squeeze, rapid price increase. Okay, so example, if SPY has a huge call wall at 500, traders expect price to struggle to go beyond it. If SPY starts breaking above 500, it could force call sellers to hedge by buying SPY, causing a short squeeze higher. All right, so large put walls, bearish, bullish, neutral, bias indicates strong support. Traders expect price not to fall below this level. Market makers hedge by buying the underlying asset, as I stated multiple times. If price breaks below a major put wall, forced selling may trigger even downside acceleration. If Nvidia, so here's an example, has a huge call wall at 140, traders expect price to hold below this level. If Nvidia trades higher than 140, market makers might have to buy stock to hedge, leading to further upward momentum. All right, so final takeaways, guys. Call walls, potential resistance. Put walls, potential support. High levels of open interest at a specific strike act as key price magnets. Breakouts of call walls, gamma squeezes possible. Breakouts of put walls, accelerated downside risk. OI trends help confirm sentiment shifts and trade opportunities. So I hope everybody, as my guy Sharif likes to say,
There it is.
prints up multiple storms, my guy.
I hope you just you know what you've done to most people right now, because you kept saying call wall.
Yeah,
all that
call wall.
yeah,
call
bro,
wall,
that's
eh?
all I heard over and over was
I tried.
call wall.
I was hoping that wouldn't. Call wall, man.
All right, so shout out to Joseph. Great lesson, bro.
Thank you,
As
brother.
always,
You did.
killing it with these options, educating us dumb folk who do not know the options market as well as you do, obviously. All right, guys, we're involved in a good trade right now. Here we go. No, that's not what I want, so that reversed on me there. ADTX got in initially at 931, added into that 915, was able to scalp all the way up into 969. I did get stopped out for the remaining amount, so gave back a little bit there, kind of annoying. And in addition to that, I did have some uncleaned stop orders, so I ended up getting short. So I had to flatten out there a bit of a mistake on my part. Still profitable on it though. Let's keep an eye out, see if it wants to come back into that 750 area. Between 8 to 750, I'm a buyer on this one, okay? So I'm putting my alert already on it for price action support that I perceive to be at $8, and then VWAP goes all the way down to 750. So ADTX certainly in play right now. In another one right now, both dubs. TIGR, I mentioned this one, we're in 79s. The best print I got so far, 90. No, incorrect. 94 is now waiting at 93s, waiting at 95s. Got way more shares on this one than we did on the other one, so let's throw out some orders on this, and then we'll look to front run the whole dollar as well as wet the beak north of the whole dollar if it does continue on its merry way there. I'm watching ADTX lose the 10 exponential, so very happy with my stop placement on this one. Now I'm in anticipation of the next trade on ADTX. I like this bad boy. It's up 97%. It's got 67.75 million shares traded on the day. It's a reasonably priced stock, you know, in that single digit area. So you'll have more mass participation. In addition to that, it adds liquidity. So I've liked what I've seen so far from this one, but it just gave up, obviously, the 10 exponential for the first time on the day since we opened up at 9:30. This is the first time it's actually below. If it closes this way and there's about 4 more minutes left on this current 5-minute candle, so maybe we shouldn't be singing this one's, or basically singing this one's obituary that quick, but I'm waiting for this area over here. I perceive there to be price action, initial resistance at 8. You can kind of see the flat top at 7.5 with the wicks going up into 8. So I likely will get a starter position into that $8 area, because if it holds up there, I'd like to have something. But underline that, emphasize that. Starter position at the top end of what I perceive to be the support range. And then I will have planned, not unplanned, dollar cost averages into 750 for that VWAP hold, but that will be my line in the sand. If it doesn't hold 750, I'm gonzino on that. Here it comes into 8, very close. So let's go ahead and throw out that order to front run 8. I'm going to say that 805s, whatever, in and around there, to see if we can get something at the top end of the range. So it did kind of already come into a previous area wick, so it's already finding some buyers. So maybe there are more buyers, there are buyers that are more exuberant than I. I'm talking about this candle here on the 5. The top end of that candle took us, one moment please, to the high of 827. The low of this candle, 827. Shocking. Shocking. So I missed that one. Let's see if it comes back down. At least we got the initial pop to show me that there are buyers that are seeing what I'm seeing, that there are buyers that see that top end of the range between 7.5 and 8. It is leaving me without me at the moment, so we'll look to do a little bit better. 827, the current low of this 5-minute candle. I'm all eyes and ears, baby. If it comes back and fills me, I'll be pleased as dang punch. Now, let's talk about the one that I have had no trades on. And quite frankly, I don't like the look of this one's jib. It's, you know what, Joseph? It's a little spready, it's a little inconsistent, and it's using VWAP here as a line of best fit rather than as an area of support or resistance. Look at this. The volume weighted average price, which will always be the white lines on the black charts on mine, kind of goes through the middle of the price action. It's neither ensconcing the price action from the high side or the low side. Again, it feels more like the line of best fit. It's having all sorts of trouble with 3. That's the bad news about KBSX. The good news, obviously, it's up 123%. In addition to that, I like the higher lows over here. So it's got a very similar shape to the one we saw yesterday, where it has a bit of an ascending wedge. Double bottom on the 5, 1045, 1050. Then it double bottoms again at 11 and 1105 at that 2 1/3. And now we've got higher lows every single time, but that $3 level on KBSX remains an elusive target. No closing prints above that $3 right now, despite the fact that the high of the day is 307. So I'm all eyes and ears, baby. Let's see what we get here. TIGR coming back down. So this one did reclaim VWAP. I'll likely take out the majority of this one if it comes back into VWAP again. I don't want to have to deal with this one below VWAP. But right now, my focus is ADTX, KBSX, and TIGR.
Hey, good look there, my friend. Okay, yeah, here we go, guys. Still holding on to this XPEV. Looking for a little bit higher. Only have about 5% left, so a new high. I'll gladly take it out. If it does come back to the break even, then that's okay. We just left a little for the dream. But my next play here, guys, is in Hood. I was talking about it this morning. Hopefully we can get a nice rebound. Excuse me. So this is essentially what I'm playing off of. Gaurav, check this out on Hood. Nice bottoming signal right there, my guys. So let's see if this comes into play. I think if we break through this resistance zone around 39.79, then we can tap into VWAP and then maybe go a little bit north of that and look for some of these pre-market low levels. So that's the game plan here, playing this VPA signal. And that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to update the previous VPA signal lesson and then get some real-time examples. And I'm going to probably use this one here if it does work out. And there's a couple other ones that Gaurav and I traded. So yeah, hopefully this trade does work out, and if not, then we'll just get stopped out. We are risking the low a day. I'm not in at the best position. We'll go over some of my previous moves. I talked about it this morning. Unfortunately, I was a little delayed on the entry because we would have been in right at this engulfing signature right here, and then we would already be at essentially like a 2-to-1, almost a 3-to-1 there. But you can see, I just want to note here, guys. So I went long here on Hood, pulled back, and then it just once it breached VWAP, I'm like, all right, let's get out of Dodge on this trade. trade and wait for a potential turnaround. And then here you go. You can see that we didn't put any definitive signals, but I'm like, if the market's going to rally, then I'm going to use this as an out, this previous bar low, this previous candle low. And if it breaks, then I'll just hop out. But we did get a little pop later, but you can see we just took that initial leg down. So I'm like, okay, we got to pack our patience, hold the horses a little bit, and wait for those definitive signals to come into play. And here we are. So we're now down. We're in at around 39.50 or 39.48, which is not too horrible. Couple cents in the money, but what we need is to break this zone here, and then that's when we can start to take those next legs and hit those next levels that I believe can come to play. I was talking about this company, and I've been talking about it since last week quite often. Just the reports, 700% increase in crypto transactions, options activity up across the board, a lot of different, and they have those new contracts in play as well, where you can bet on the weather and whatever it may be, political events, which is absolutely insane in my opinion. Yeah, which is absolutely insane in my opinion. But and it's funny because I was listening to Kramer last night too, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
And some guy he called in, you know how they do the call-in thing? Well, I forget what they say, the lightning round. And he tells them, and he's like, oh, no, I don't want you to sell any more Hood. I want you to buy more. And I'm like, all right, Jimmy C, I appreciate that look there on Hood. So I do think that we can rebound, especially with those fundamentals. And if you look at it from a margin standpoint, this Q4 was absolutely phenomenal. So more money in their pocket and less expenditure. So I like this name for the long term. Gonna look to get in it, especially when it's had a 50% haircut. It's not looking too good. We do have to play the technicals from an intraday standpoint as well. It may take some time to break through these levels. You can see that we're starting to construct lower highs, which isn't positive, but I do believe that this is some stopping volume and that we can turn around. It's unfortunate that my risk to reward isn't that good. So if we crack 39.26, I'll get out, and then if it tests the low a day once again, I'm gonna hop right back into this trade because I believe this thesis is strong. And I think with yesterday's session, I believe that the strength can continue, Sharif.
All right, KBSX, we're involved at the $0.25. It's at $3. We've wet our beak a few times. The high of the day, as I mentioned previously, is 307. But I'm waiting at the lofty area of 325. As you can see, you're going to see that red dot. That is my profit taker. But you're going to also see aqua, or whatever these cyan colors are. And those are my dip trades. And the reason I have those out there is I'm looking at picking this up into a dip at the 10 exponential. So I'm looking to front run it a little bit. The 10 exponentials at 250. So I'm looking to get a little bit more shareage over here because I've only have one more out. I'm waiting at 62s and 52s. Okay, so that's my plan for the moment on KBSX. Already, decently in the money, but a bit of a smaller position, looking at either getting a big boy print at 3.25 for the squeeze above 3 or getting some more shareage down there. So we'll see exactly what we get, and we won't get upset. All right, so that's a look. Now, ADTX coming into my level, I kind of felt maybe that I had missed the boat on this one, but it's back down into 27s again. It's losing 27s on the bid, still above it on the ask, so there is support at this level. And we just mentioned 27s, which was that big boy pop earlier on. I'm talking about this 5-minute candle that manifested at 10.25, and this 5-minute candle, 11.15, came back and held 27. So it does look like someone's buying it in and around there. We'll have to see if they continue to defend it right around that level. And then the last but not least, Tiger, I'm waiting at 95s, still not getting printed. Looks like there is a seller at 95. Adara LePage, what is going on up there?
Introduction, Sharif Gobriel. We do have ABT on watch. Abbott pushing to the downside. Some reports here that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. or RFK Jr. is set to meet with baby formula manufacturers. Why this is significant is because Robert F. Kennedy Jr., RFK Jr., he is actually the head of Health and Human Services in Donald Trump's cabinet. And he certainly has kind of different views on some of these large manufacturers. So keep an eye here on ABT. Apparently he's set to meet with baby formula manufacturers as reported by Bloomberg, though Abbott bouncing pretty nicely here. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that. Obviously, RFK, you know, widely perceived to be anti-vax. Whether that's accurate or not is immaterial. We're trading on sentiment, not facts. It feels like most of the time. All right, we took out the majority, or we took out everything accidentally here on Tiger into the 9s. I really did mean to leave some for above 9s, and then I was like, ohing and awing. Well, Daryl was talking there, and Joseph nicely is putting up with my shenanigans today. So, well... Hey, say that again? Yeah, of course. Go ahead, brother. Okay, so we'll go ahead, Neil.
And this is only because I know everyone's like, oh, Sharif always making keystroke errors. I do this. I've made that same keystroke where I accidentally get out of everything a lot. And I used to do it a ton when I was starting out. And I found a solution that has worked for me. I don't know if this will work for you, Sharif, but the first thing I'll do, like if I take a position and I know where my stop is, so my stop is set, so my downside is covered. Let's just say you're in 1,000 shares and you want to get out pieces of it, but you got to stop for 100% of your position, whether it's for the 1,000 or the key that we use where you can do 100% stop. So even if you get out some, it's going to cover the whole position. So once I'm in position, I will then change my default share to a smaller increment. So if it's 1,000, I change my default to 100 or 200, so that it's impossible for me to throw out 1,000 shares and get out of the whole thing, because my stop covers 100%. So if I'm out of half of it, doesn't matter. It's going to cover the whole thing. If I'm out 80%, it's going to cover the whole thing. If I'm out 20%, it's going to cover the whole thing. But once I have that stop set, first thing I do is change the default. And I learned that from trading IPOs, because I'd always get that entry on the IPO, have the stop at the even dollar, and then I wanted to take profits out, but I don't want to accidentally keystroke out of the whole thing. So I would just drop my default shares to a percentage of whatever the full position is, and then that way you're never covering the whole thing unless you throw too many of them out. Anyways, that's just... I heard you say that, and I was like, there's something that I do for that. And
hey! Thank you very much, Neil. Here we go with KBSX. Boom! We take out the top at 3, boy. There it is. Small cap gappers. Ain't no cap over here, baby. All right.
Whoa.
All right. All right. No, I don't know why everyone got so excited. But there it is, baby. KBSX. Higher lows. Flat top at 3. Boom! It goes to the top side. So pleased with this trade. Let's keep an eye on this one. This is the #1 gapper currently in the market, up 140%, with a good DNA here. So 8.86 million shares traded on, sorry, give me a second. What the float is, I'll give you guys the float super quick if I can. 3.9 million shares, so about 4 million shares. Market cap of 193 million, give or take. Let's find out what the short float is on this bad boy, KBSX. We have no short float. And by the way, the float on Trade Ideas, fundamentally different than what I've got. This one's saying 33.75 million. My platform is saying about 4 million shares. So a bit of a variance there. Anyway, high day, 337. I was able to get at 320. Let's keep an eye out on this one. Good look right now. I've got no positions on because we're done all our trades. The one that is not filling right now is ADTX. It's been at this 827 for a hot minute. So here's the deal. I'm going to leave these resting dip trades active. Okay, so if we do breach that 827 where this buyer's been stepping in every single time, then it'll get filled and it'll be a VWAP trade. But, and this is the big but at the moment. There it is. There it is. Yeah, whatever. No. If we get a new 5-minute candle to make a new high, why be like that, Joseph?
I mean, I wasn't lying. I wasn't lying.
Right? If we get a new 5-minute candle to make a new high, that would take it up to 880. I'm punching long because this is a candle of indecision, a doji candle at a predictable support level, that 827 level, and we've had 3 5-minute candles all defend that 827. So if you didn't have proof enough that this was a support level on the first candle, you got another one, a third one, and now we're in our 4th. This is the 5-minute chart. So I'm going to keep my eye out on this one. So it's either a dip trade into the breach of that $8 area coming down to $8, or the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. Since we opened up a new candle, it's no longer 878. It is a break above 865. So anything that breaks above that 8 2/3 on ADTX, I'm a buyer in and around there for a continuation trade. We'll see if ADTX gives me an opportunity. I see you guys talking about Lucid, as well you should be. This one has given you 1, 2, 100 different trades off the volume weighted average price. It has not breached VWAP. It's not giving you a lot off VWAP. That's the thing. Let's talk about it. VWAP currently at 340. Price action, 345. But if you punch in several thousand shares, which is the style of a lot of these small cap gapper traders, that's Cameron, you can get a big move or a big profit with a small move. That's kind of what I'm talking about there. So keep your eye on LCID. That 340 area has been absolutely defended multiple times. We'll see if it continues to get defended. Joseph Wilson.
Yeah, good look here, man. I was about to get really buzzing here, but it looks like Hood's gonna come back to my break even. Yeah, and there we go. We just got stopped out. That's okay, but we took some on the breakout. If we come anywhere back in towards this zone, I'm most definitely gonna get in this trade because I believe we can get a bounce here. But we got a nice. So I'm still gonna run the sirens on that one there. So nice little pop from those other two ones. So yeah, good look there on Hood, and then we're still sitting in some XPEV guys. Only about that 5% left that I mentioned from before. Okay, you don't want to cooperate. That's okay. XPEV. Okay.
What happened?
Party. Sorry for the. Oh, it's okay.
Want me to take over?
No. I'm okay. I'm just gonna have to do something else. Okay, I don't know why that's doing that. But yeah, anyways, we'll talk about something else here, guys, because I still have my XPEV here. I can see it on a different chart. I just wanted to pull it up for you. So if we break through these zones, 39.40, and even come into around 39.20, I'm going to look to get back into this trade because I like the thesis. I do believe that we can remain strong, down 6% on that day. And I mentioned time and time again, a 50% haircut. It's a couple of days after that strong earnings report. So just following the market, and unfortunately got hit a little heavier. So that is my look on Hood and QBTS.
Yeah, everyone's yelling about it.
Yeah,
the quantum names are breaking.
Yeah, like, Lord, it's been breaking out. So good look here on QBTS. You can see a bunch of indecision here, guys, on the 5-minute time frame. A bunch of buying pressure stepping right into these candles, forming hammer dojis. You got that pullback right here from about 1081 all the way back into the volume weighted average price, but it's now breached that and continuing to climb higher. Let's see what we got going on from a daily standpoint. Is this all-time highs on this name? No, it's not quite, but we're starting to run into that, and that's going to be around 1341. This quantum space is back into play. I mentioned this last week. When you have a sector like this that is in play like how it was, and then it just slowly dies off, expect buyers at some point to step back in, especially when it's as popular as it seems to be right now. So you can see just continuously strong day after strong day, breaking through key resistance zones and continuing in strength. So I really like QBTS. From March 11th, that was last week, I'm pretty sure, we are now up over 150% in this name, Sharif. Close to it, 147%. So that is a nice return in this sector. Let's take a quick look at RGTI before we send it back to my guy to see what he's got cooking up. And we're strong here as well. Some key pivots to break through. You can see that we have 1783 or 1634 roughly. And then we have this other one at 1144. If we punch through this pivot right here, I think we can come and test these highs, especially with how in play this space is, Sri.
All right, I did exactly what I said I was going to do, Joseph.
Nice.
With ADTX, punched in for the first 5-minute candle, make a new high, beak wet. 75s, beak wet, 88, we're holding. Now, this kind of puts the kibosh for the moment on my dip trade. And if you don't watch Seinfeld, it means it kind of puts my whole dip trade on hold, Joseph, because you don't watch Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah.
You got it.
Yeah, I got it.
I know you got it. The point is, I'm still waiting for that dip trade in 8. So we're taking a small position over here. We're out of 2/3 of the position into 88. Now I'm waiting at 9 1/4. I'm going to leave my order there, the lofty area of 9 1/4. Only reason is because I've got one more beak wetter, so might as well shoot for the dream. But I'm going to put my dip trades back into play on this one because I don't think this one is out of the woods quite yet. As a potential downside move. So 805 dip trade goes back in, and a 777 dip trade goes back in. I am superstitious. So we're going to see exactly what we get there, and we will not get upset. Now, I'm really disappointed with how I executed on TIGR. I mean, this one kept going and going and going, and I'm not part of it at the moment. Having gotten in essentially at 877, the best out we had was just in front of 9, and now it's up to 915. Now, here's the deal. We're printing 915 right now, but that the previous candle at 1005, that took us to 920. So I'm not saying this is going to be a double top, but there always is the chance of coming right into that previous area of resistance and meeting the brick wall, that 920 area. So it could be 920, it could be 925. The double tops don't all have to be at the same level. I wouldn't be quick to short it there if you're more short inclined. I would definitely wait for confirmation. All right, ADTX did drop down into my level. Adara, what do you got?
I have a whole host of smaller cap runners for you to look at, Sharif. So I don't know if some of these are already on your radar. We do have KBSX. This is FST Corp. I think I might have heard you say this earlier. This one, relative volume, almost 1,000. 962.54. I looked up this company. It was a business acquisition or special acquisition SPAC. You may have heard them referred to as of January 15th. So this has been trading now for about 2 months. KBSX. Then we have Lithium Argentina LAR. This one here is 7.3% short float and a day one earnings name. They announced their earnings yesterday evening. Last but not least, of course, we know these quantum names are on watch. So QUBT is one that for me is breaking out nicely. I'm seeing on the volume scanner. So QUBT, 17.5% short float. Quantum tickers on watch heading into the Nvidia Quantum Day event on Thursday. It's also worth noting Jensen Huang's keynote coming later today at Nvidia's GTC event. We're not sure if quantum could be mentioned, but it's certainly an area to keep in mind, given that, as Sharif mentioned earlier, some of Jensen's comments on quantum in the past have actually led to major moves in this sector. Back to you.
I just wanted to
Yeah,
quick.
for sure.
Okay, so that 805 dip trade that we re-put on ADTX filled, and we just got filled at 840 on the pop-up, so quite happy with this one. Now I'm caught in the position of, do I defend that $8 level, or do I just get the hell out of there and take my profits and then wait at 750 for VWAP? That is always the question I'm always asking myself there. Here, let's see what we can get. If we can, let's just watch this a little bit longer over here. I'm trying to decide whether to take everything out and then put a deeper dip trade again for VWAP. I'm more biased, I don't know why, towards that level. Here we go up to the high side. I'm gonna wet my beak here, and then we're gonna leave this order. Let's let this one cook, okay? So we got 805 long. I'm just gonna leave this one. Let's see if we can reclaim that $9 area. I don't like the bottom break there of that long consolidation level at 8.25. So I'm a little concerned. I got the 805 fill, fantastic, yada, 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 but this one does look like it may be stair-stepping down. So I'm just gonna let this one do its thing. Yeah, I'm gonna wait at 7.5. So let's go ahead and throw out that order at 760 to front run 750. If we can get it, I'd be pleased as punch. Joseph, what do you got there?
Yeah, good luck there, my friend. So there's the XPEV. We're still holding on to the 5%. Let's see if we can climb higher. I like what Sharif was saying to me this morning is watch out for these pre-market lows. So that's going to be the end goal here, just around these areas. It's not much higher than where our other out is, but we only have 5%. So may as well just get used to holding on to those shares just for the sake of it. And then who knows, if it continues to appreciate, then you still have a little bit of skin in the game, and that's what we want to try to maximize there. So that's going to be the level on XPEV. And Hood, I like what Pug Life is telling me about Hood. So obviously what I had to do is pull up the options chain to take a look, and he's right. He's like, Joe, watch out for the high levels of open interest on the call side. With Hood, all right? So I'll pull it up here real quick just to see what we have cooking up just from an OI standpoint. So first, okay, let me backtrack a couple. Sorry to kind of be all over the place here, guys. But RYNE, Rain, I believe. I don't want to mispronounce your name or anything along those lines, so I apologize. And they said, can you look at 560 on the options chain to see what may happen? And for sure, what do? I pull up the options chain with today's expiration cycle, and then we go to that 560 strike price, and we have about 12,000 open contracts. So it's a little larger last time I checked, about 14,000. So you can see that SPY is holding up right around that level as well too. 560 seems to be the potential short-term bottom right now in SPY. So I like that look. That's what the options chain is for. And then we're going to take a look at Hood as well and see what's under the hood to make sure that Adara, oh, I thought I was going to get a clap from Adara, but okay, I got a little clap there. All right. So, yeah, and they're right. So, he's right. Pug Life at 40, we see 15,000 open contracts on this expiration cycle. And if we go up and down the chain to, we'll say, 1 or 2 standard deviations, it's going to be a high level. So 40 being some resistance. And then if we were to go down a couple standard deviations, that's probably going to put us at, let's see. Yeah, so 35 would be the low. So support around that neck of the woods. So again, we have to break through. We have to break through 40, but I want to grind up until then in case we get that magnetic effect and then we reject that 40 level. So we are starting to pull back a little bit. 39.40, there was a base. If we can crack that, some more liquidity, I'm still going to stand by the thesis of this being stopping volume. But you can see after this large engulfing print here and this signature, look at that move that we went from 38.90 to about 39.80, so just under a point there, guys. So really nice signal there. My guy Gaurav and Los Polios, I know you're looking for these as well too, so a beautiful trading signal right there. Let's see what Pug Life says. For sure, Euro markets closed in 20 minutes. We should see some movement here, top of the hour, and I like that you pointed that out. And you know what, Pug Life? I'm not that strong in trading the Euro markets, but you know who is? My guy Wayner. Wayner is unreal with the Euro markets, all right? So Lewis Edwards, Tiger ready for a short at 9:30. We'll take a look at that. And day trader cut, GTC, it's not good till cancel. It's grab those calls. Bang. I like that one there. Day trader cut.
Yeah, I like that because that's always an IBKR, right?
Yeah,
Anytime you
GTC,
throw in an order,
yeah,
GTC,
yeah,
canceled.
no, grab those calls.
Yeah, I like that.
says,
I'd give him an all well. That's my man right there.
Yeah.
All right, guys. ADTX, we're still hovering at 8. Here's what I've done. So I got the 805 long, and the deal is I'll get stopped out 798 to 790, but that order at 760 stays put. Okay. The reason is if we flush aggressively here, I don't want to be DCAing. I'd rather have a fresh order at the volume weighted average price that I can deal with. So gonna leave this one to cook. If it wants to bounce off this $8 area where it's finding support, fantastic. We only got one beak wetter left. I wanted to mention though, guys, Quantum really running up, really aggressive. This is just QUBT, but I've got Rigetti up on my side chart. I've got IonQ, QBTS. Just to give you some context over here, RGTI, negative on the day 1%, but up 5.8% since the bell rang. Adara, what's up?
Keep an eye here. I just saw an article out on X that Appian did get a short report. This is from CL. So Appian short report apparently citing low code compliance software regarding actually apparently helping Russia's regime, according to this short report. So keep an eye here on APPN. You can see this push to the downside for this name, Appian. Back to you.
What do you got, Joseph?
Yeah, Escobar makes sure he wants me to tell you that you're a cool guy. So I said, oh, I'll make sure I'll tell the whole team that they're cool guys. And he said, thank you. And he says, yeah, he says, appreciate the whole team. You guys are really awesome. So thank you, Escobar Home. Exactly, that's what I said, man. Thank you, Escobar Home 2.0, whatever that may be. So there you go, Escobar. That'd be nice to find one of Pablo's old houses or something that has a bunch of cash in the walls.
Oh,
that would be
Joseph.
Don't get me all pumped up about that, bro. This guy's already
Don't get me pumped up. You know how many myths there are about the gold rush in California, about hidden treasures in this mountain or that mountain?
Are you a treasure hunter?
Oh my God. No, but I wouldn't mind being.
Yeah, that'd be a good.
I wouldn't mind.
Yeah,
if I found the treasure.
Nice. So here we go, guys. We're gonna be looking for this continuous breakdown. You can see that we're starting to run in this support system right here. If we can breach lower than 39.20 is going to be the next target, I think, to the downside. But I'm still gonna stick to the thesis that we're holding this level, and until we crack there, then the thesis is going to be valid, and I'm going to look for the stock to turn around at any of these support systems and levels here, Sharif.
All right, guys. Sorry, I just went on a little tangent. All right, guys. back into KBSX, and please us dang, punch 85s, punched out 92s, punched out 97s. Now we're holding a piece for the dream above 3. Why'd I get in here? Well, it was yet another higher low and yet another 10 exponential moving average hold on the 5. I put my stop just a skosh below that $0.75. So if it does come down, I'm out. Simple as that. But we're only holding one beak wetter left. So this was, as you know, the 10 exponentials, a green line on my chart, came down in there. We bought it, and we just took the scalp on the way up. So we'll see if this one can hold its position. Right now, it rejected 3. I mean, it didn't reject 3 in the technical sense of rejecting 3, but it can't seem to close and hold above that $3 level. So here we go. We're attempting 3 again. I'm waiting on the north side of 3. And if history is any guide, given how this one is traded previously, and I was involved in it, and boom, again, we take it out. Right there, baby. Right bottom wick and right above into that $3 area again. Please us dang punch with this trade. Let's keep an eye out on KBSX. It keeps giving you more opportunities with the umpteen amount of higher lows. The lows are getting bought up. Keep your eye on the higher low situation. It's kind of your little guide there to knowing who's in control. Is it buyers or sellers? Typically, when you do have that higher low situation, it is buyers in control. TIGR. I kind of mentioned that this could be a possible double top, and here we go. We get into that 920, which was the high day. We go to 925, and now we're turning back. Let's see what we do, though. This is going to take a while to manifest, but if we break that 870 area, which will possibly be, I should say, the neckline on the double top, I'm going to look over to Neil, and I'm going to say, Neil, can you please get me some shorts for TIGR? I'm not going to use them quite yet. The reason is, you got to let this pattern manifest. I'm not going to anticipate what could be a pattern that would require, I think, about 50 pennies for me to see whether or not it's valid. I'm talking about that 925 top and that 875 break. So that's 50 pennies from top to bottom there to see if the neckline would give way on TIGR. Now, having said all that, for the double top, that is, let's talk about possible longs on this. So that's obviously a short position. First things first, let's see what it does with the 10 exponential moving average. For the most part, I want to use that very loosely here. For the most part, it respected the 10 on the way up. It used it as a bit of support over here, but then it gave way at the 10, breached the 10, breached the 20, breached VWAP, and then found a new high of the day. So what I'd like to see, does it come, okay, so now that I've looked at this a bit further, it looks definitely that there is some support at or previous resistance at 9. It consolidated essentially from 1025 to 1055 at $9 as resistance. It gave up that level. It gave up VWAP, dropped to 870, hovered at 9 for a little while longer before this monster candle came in at 1130 and took it above 9. So if we do come back into 9 on TIGR, and that's only about 15 pennies away from where we're currently trading, I'm looking for a buy there. If that doesn't hold, I'll be looking at VWAP, but I'll be looking at VWAP with suspicious eyes because this one did not hold VWAP earlier. So why would it hold it this time, right? I always used to say this a lot, say it less often, excuse me. If the ticker on the day is not respecting the indicators that you're looking at, whether that be VWAP, the moving average, ATR, whatever you use, why use it? If it's showing you its propensity to disrespect it intraday and on the day, then don't use it. So what I'll be looking for, again, to kind of digress a little bit, $9, that comes in and holds. I'm a buyer. If it doesn't, I'm looking at VWAP at around 885, 880, give or take, and then ultimately I'll look short if we break below that 870 area where this double bottom took place on TIGR. So that's my look right now. Not much else to report on. Oh, I did get stopped out of ADTX for like a 4-penny loser. We had 805s. This one dipped below $8 very briefly, and I got triggered at 798, so we gave back a tiny bit there. I'm going to keep my eye out on it. It's still above VWAP, so this one could definitely catch a bit of a bid today, no doubt about it. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, good luck there, my friend. You think this car right here is real? This one? I don't want to go on it because...
Oh, yeah, click it, dude. Isn't that...
because it'll just do that. I don't want to go into the whole video.
Isn't that... What's that car called that we saw? Is that the Mullen car?
I don't know, but get me it if it is real.
Get me it. All right, hold on.
Like, you know what I mean? Can we zoom? Yeah, like look at this thing here,
Yeah,
man.
it's a
Yeah, yeah, it's obviously fake, but if he comes out with something like this, yeah, exactly. But if he comes out with something like this, come on, man.
Bro, he's already come out with the Cybertruck. People think he's
exactly. So
crazy.
now we need the cyber car. Ooh, there we go. Hire me.
Ooh.
Should I tell Elon?
There you go,
Nice
bro.
guy, man.
If I saw Elon, like,
Yeah.
first of all,
What's
you
your
wouldn't
pitch to him? Okay, time out. What's your pitch to Elon here? You see Elon.
I think I just grovel,
Yeah?
like a fanboy.
Yeah?
Yeah, probably. That's the truth. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no,
Cybertruck.
seriously though, I don't know. I wouldn't be so presumptuous to think that I could pitch him something.
Yeah.
Dude, would you pitch him something?
No, oh, there's no chance.
I don't think I'd pitch him anything.
I'd be like, what do you want me to do? Mop your floors or something like that?
I mean, there's stuff in space that I'd love to talk to him about because I love space and he's all about that life.
He's all
right?
about
Like,
space
he's all
and
about that life.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. So
I mean, I don't know, bro.
yeah, the cyber car. I'm on to it. All right, guys. Yeah, we're starting to pull in here on the market, still holding on to that little piece of XPEV. Let's see if this 5-minute candle on Robinhood wants to hold. If it does not, then that's okay. We're not in the position. We're just looking for a key level to hold, and that's going to be this volume candle right here and this print. So if it breaches that, or if it holds, and I'm going to get in around these lows and look for another bounce in this name. But what we can see here, that's a 5-minute time frame. Sorry, 10-minute time frame. I want to see what the 5 minutes doing. So yeah, so there it is. What are they saying over there?
I'd introduce him to Luigi Mangione. Why would you do that?
Oh, that's crazy,
What are you doing,
man?
Mr. DC Douglas?
That is crazy.
Why would you do that?
That is wild, man. But yeah, guys, here we go. You can see that this is a really decisive indecision print. That's what a white candle here on the volume signature would be, and on the candle print, that just means it's equal amount of buyers and sellers. So that's closing as a neutral candle, looking for it to hold. Good thing we got out of, Good thing we got out of it, and that's why I personally don't like to make winning trades losers, because I only took about 20% off of this trade, had the majority of it still sitting in, and then imagine I just even though this is only whatever it may be, imagine I just held on to the remainder, and now I'm sitting at a loss, getting a little bit more panicky, sweating, waiting for something to happen that may not necessarily happen. We may not get that bounce. So that's why you just get back in. Don't hold, and Sharif and I were talking this morning as well too. On Tesla, and I was talking with my buddy Greg, and it's just like, as much as you want to get attached to a position, and it's just a natural effect, right? You got your hard-earned money in there, or even like you're expending mental capital. You don't want to give things up so easily, but I think a really big skill in trading is just having the ability to forget and just not and be emotionless. We talk about it a lot. Don't hold any attachment to the position. If it's not doing anything you don't want it to do, then just get out and find something that is doing something you want it to do. So,
yeah, man. Get that energy drink, Dara. Yeah, enjoy it. I know Dara's an energy drink connoisseur.
What kind is it? A Monster?
She knows where all the cheap ones are, all the ones on sale. She's got plenty of different tastes. Right?
7-Eleven also has great discounts if you're a member. So if you're a member, you can get energy drinks, like more of them, for a cheaper. Life hack.
There you go.
I have all the 7-Eleven points.
Dara, call it what you really call it.
The Sev.
Boom.
Sev.
It's the Sev. Shout out to Winnipeg Adara. Appreciate that. Here's the deal. ADTX kind of curling out. Feel awfully silly. I mean, we didn't lose much on this. We were long 805, got stopped out like 797. But that's not the point. The point is this one's curling in a little bit. So it is finding some support at 8. Now, I don't want to be quick to jump back into this, because why? Well, look, I got in at 827 before, and we scalped up into that high 8s. And then look what it did, made lower lows and lower highs. So what I'd like to see ideally is a clearing of that previous area high. Otherwise, we just have a series of lower highs and lower lows. And here we go. We're picking up steam here on this. Look at the tape move. And you can always see when the volume is coming in. You don't have to look at the volume bars. You can just see it on the book and on the tape. When it starts moving crazy like that, that means there's a whole lot of volume coming in. And then what I use the color things on my time and sales for is to see whether the volume is bullish or bearish just by seeing colors. I don't even need to look at the price action. When I see a whole lot of orange or a whole lot of green, that means buyer exuberance. Orange. I'll just remind you guys, for the newer traders out there, when you're on my screen and you see blue, that means aggressive selling. Selling below the bid. That means sellers are trying to get the hell out of there. When you see orange and green, orange is above the ask. That means buyers are so exuberant to get into the name, they're buying above the ask. Green, obviously, is at the ask. Red is at the bid. And yellow is the intermediate print, neither bullish nor bearish. So when I see a whole lot of orange and a whole lot of green coming in on my time and sales, I know that it's quite bullish for the time being anyway. So back to what I was saying about ADTX and its charting, the situation with this one is if we don't take out that 880 level, then it will be a series of lower highs and lower lows, despite the fact that we're on a 4 green candle setup right now on ADTX ever since stopping me out. So anything above that 875, 880 area to take out that previous area high, I think I'm long again on ADTX for a possible squeeze into 10 bucks, high day, 10.04 as we speak. TIGR doesn't look for the moment like it's going to double top. I was kind of concerned that that would be the situation. It is finding some support here, it looks like, at the 10 exponential moving average. Neil was nice enough to actually check and let me know, because I didn't even check, that Tiger is free for shorts. So I wouldn't even need to pick up shorts on this. If this breaks down below that 8 3/4, as we mentioned earlier, I will be going short there. Otherwise, nothing for me on it in this consolidation phase. I'd really like to start getting in, though, on QUBT or some of these other quantum names, Joseph, because they're continuing to run, man. I don't know why they got the midday bump, but the fact of the matter is they got it. So now it's either incumbent upon us to trade it or shut the hell up about it. So let's go to QUBT. This is QBTS. I want to trade QUBT because QUBT is up 12 3/4. And QBTS is kind of negative on the day. Likewise, we're the Rigetti and Ion Q, both still negative, despite the fact that they're both up since the bell. So QUBT, I don't know why, but it seems to have the tailwind today behind it. I'm just looking to see if there's anything coming in here on my blotter, QUBT specific. No, there isn't. All right, so let's do some charting. We're at that $9 area right now on QUBT, with the 10 exponential about 895. So let's see what we do at 9. I could certainly be persuaded to get in at 9 for a possible move back up into 930. It has been a series of higher highs and higher lows. I don't know how I'd feel about this one if it did break below that 10 exponential moving average, which is 895. There's a big chasm right now between that 10 exponential moving average and the 20, about 30 pennies worth of space, and then an even bigger space between the 10 and VWAP. The 10 exponential, as I mentioned, 895, VWAP 834. So a big space there, and I'm not going to be DCAing within that space, obviously. So I'd like something either at 9 to hold, or I'll wait for the deeper retracement, and then we can talk about that. Lucid, before we send it back to Joseph, has been caught in a bit of a range today. So it's been a good look for Lucid. They're up 14.8%, but they're caught in a bit of a range, and here's why. So there's that big move up right at the bell, and then it's been, as I mentioned earlier, using VWAP as support. But look at the high side. Can't clear 50, can't even clear 48. So here we go. We're at 48s right now, and if history is any guide on LCID on the day anyway, this will reject 48 and drop back down maybe for a 40, a 39, a 38. We'll see. Can't print anything above 48. So let's load up Lucid. Oh, I'm missing the trade on QUBT. It's already like 25 pennies above 9. Dang. All right, so LCID. Let's look at this. So there is the look on Lucid at the high of the day, 248. So let's find out if this is a pay for shorts type setup. It is not. So it's free shorts on LCID at Real Ding Trading. Let's give this one. Yeah, let's give this one a try, man. We'll go short here, and then we'll put the stop above 50. So if we end up getting a print above 50, which will be 3 pennies, we'll get stopped out. Simple as that. What do you got, Joseph?
Yeah, good look there, my friend. So I wanted to do some charting as well, like how Sharif brought that up. And I just want to go over some past pivots, right? And just identify from a technical standpoint when the market turns around, okay? And I want to compare it to what we're looking at right now, okay? So we'll go back, let's say it's 2024, and we'll look for key areas within the market that are standoutish and say, hey, the price action is ready to turn around. And what we're going to do to identify this is just large outstanding volume, okay? So not everything is going to come 100% into play, but what we want to do is identify high levels of volume that outlie the rest of the previous price action. So you can see here back in February of 23, We get a 10% pullback, and then what happens? You get an engulfing candle here with another outlying volume signature, so a nice tweezer type price action here, and then you just continue to gradually go higher and higher. Now let's find another pivot to say like, hey, okay, the price was ready to turn around, and then here we go. We can go like this from just standing at the volume, and you can see it's larger than anything from the past couple of months, and then you have a low. Let's see what we got from peak to trough here. So roughly 8% move, and then that's when you get that stopping volume start to step in. Same thing happens at this pivot here, guys. From July of 24, you can see that we go down about 15% from the top to the bottom there, and then you have that big isolated volume signature that says, hey, price might be ready to turn around. And then let's see if we can find some more. We got more engulfing candles there. And then, look, this is what I'm looking for. You see that?
What is happening?
That's crazy.
Bro, why'd you send me that? I don't need to see that.
Yeah, I know, right? But here we go. Same thing here, guys. Down about 13%. One thing that I want to note is that we don't have that buying pressure step in. They're still engulfing red candles. So what can this indicate possibly? Hey, that we're still not ready to turn around yet in this market. There might be some more potential downside. There wasn't very much volume in the past two sessions when we recovered. Okay, so not too good of a look there. And we're about to trade into these lows. So we might head south a little bit more here, and then that's going to put our retracement a little bit larger. And I mentioned that this is going to be our next level. The market will put in max pain and make you hold until you cannot hold anymore. And then when you cover, that's when the market is going to start to rally. But I'm going to hop in some hood here, guys, because I like that we're holding this support level. If it cracks through, that's fine. But just the same thing. What we want to identify on this turnaround is we want to see some isolated volume that will indicate, hey, we are ready to turn around in the market. And those are the signals that I want us to be able to identify. So here's one. Here's another one here, guys. Just correlate the volume here, correlate the volume with the candle print and the pullback, and then we'll find one more. You can see it within these ranges as well, too. So from a daily standpoint, if you wonder what Gaurav and I and some people, even Sharif, are looking for when the underlying asset or the market is going to turn around, is some of these key signals, and we may not be getting them right now, Sharif.
All right. Okay, so we're involved again in ADTX. Kind of curling up. I've given this to current bar low. The reason is because the previous bar low is a little bit higher. So we're long at 62s. I'm looking for the curl up here. So this did breach the previous area high, but it was a topping tail candle. So it did come right back down quite aggressively. So that's why I'm giving it a bit of a tight stop to current bar low. We'll see what this one does, and then we'll report back to you guys on that. Lucid is a short that we're currently in. It's not really rejecting this 248, but it's not dipping below it either. I'm keeping my eye on the size over here because I am concerned that all this size gets taken out. There's ample amount of size at 248s where we're short, but it's being supported with an ample amount of bid. Look at the bid sitting at 47s, and there it is. It took out 47, so I've given this to above 50. So we're gonna risk a few pennies on LCID, but that's a new high a day right now, 249 high a day on LCID. Let's keep an eye out on this one. Adara has got happening now.
Thank you for that intro there, Sharif. The market, what's certainly happening here is some more push to the downside. We have almost that hockey stick pattern that Sharif talks about, this push lower and then a little bit of consolidation near the lows for the S&P 500 down 1.25%. NASDAQ looking a bit more flat bottom breakish here, down about 1.75%. These lows definitely a lot flatter with some of these lower highs. So either way, neither of these major indices are looking great. They're looking a little iffy for very different technical reasons. We have, of course, Nvidia on watch this afternoon. In about an hour, we are expecting Jensen Huang to take the stage for GTC 2025's keynote speech. Check that out. That it will be available online, and I will certainly be covering all of the info and updates for you guys there. Also on watch here, this is ABT. This is Abbott Labs. This one pushed to the downside after R.F. Kennedy Jr., as reported by Bloomberg, apparently is speaking to these baby powder manufacturers. This is viewed as a negative catalyst for the stock. and this ticker pushed to the downside. So make sure to check out these names. Be very aware if you're trading quantum or any of these semiconductor names as Nvidia's CEO takes the stage. And with that, we're going to turn you over to Neil for his always exciting, always engaging lesson of the day after a little bit of a hiatus. Without further ado, take it away, Neil.
Thank you, Adair. I know I was away last week, so there was the lesson of the day, and then yesterday we're shooting some stuff, and I didn't get around to it. But I popped in with an execution one for Sharif, but this is different. I want to talk about Tesla, or in a general sense, like out of favor stocks, because I can't tell you how many times we look up in the chat and I see, where is the bottom on Tesla? Where is the support on Tesla? How far is Tesla going to fall? Like just things of that nature. So I want to go back to a couple of things that were similar to Tesla, just in terms of fundamentally, you can talk about the fundamentals all you want, but when a stock is out of favor for some other reasons as well, like Target had to endure this, we saw that happen, or you just have a really big downtrend where people are not liking believing in the brand as much. Lululemon is a good example of that. You have to be incredibly patient, and I find if you're trying to get the bottom before it happens, you're going to run yourself into a little bit of trouble. So I just had a couple of examples. And I'm going to start with Lulu. And obviously, you can now see the result of when it eventually turned around. But if you look at what was happening to Lululemon from its high, not dissimilar to Tesla in that it was a $200 stock that doubled it up and then just right at the end of the year, just started to, end of last year, or 2023, at the beginning of last year, it just started to absolutely flush. Gave the entirety of the move back. And everyone's like, where's the bottom on Lulu? Pick a support level. Where's the bottom on Lulu? But if you look at from the point that it made the bottom, and then what I'm going to start talking about, which is when does it start holding the major moving average and breaking away from it? The low was in the beginning of August. The hold of the 50 period was in October. And then the breakout was near the end of October. So you have August to October for this to set up what was eventually like a pretty clean long entry, holding the 50 period, breaking the top. If you risk it back underneath the 50 period, that's like 10% worth of risk, and then eventually you got like a 50% move, like whatever. It allowed it to break the trend. Now, I'm not saying Tesla is going to do that exact same pattern, but I can tell you that is the approximation of what I like to look for. And in another example, we saw Target, the whole go woke, go broke, and a few names had this whole issue as well. Now Target, it did it a couple of times where it made a low, held a 50 period, didn't quite extend to the 200 period moving average. But at least if you took that breakout, it gives you a support level to get out. You're not really going to lose a lot. It then continues to trend down. Doesn't make a fresh low there, so forget about it. Starts making fresh lows again. There's your bottom. This one's tricky because it just breaks it out huge. I don't think you'd have that entry. But you break the 50 and the 200, and then it starts holding it. So you can have an entry in here off 135. That goes into resistance at 180. It's another 25 to 30% type of move that never stops you out. But the general point is when you have a falling knife or a stock which is in a precipitous downtrend or they're just simply falling out of favor and it's sell, 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 sometimes it's not about trying to look out at the chart, which I know I did this morning, saying, hey, the 140 is a good support level and it has been down around there. That's going to be the bottom. Now, if you're DCAing and buying for the long term, who cares? You pick those types of levels because you want to buy the next quarter, and that's as good a place as any. And if it turns there, it turns there. But if you're trying to time the bottom to trade it, to swing trade it, I'd be much more interested in seeing it make that low, have the moving averages catch up a little bit to the downside, make a distinct bottom, and then round it out. Because there's always something stronger that you could take a swing trade in, except everyone always wants to catch the low on the stock that they think has the most upside. But there's usually a higher percentage play than that. So I think patience is a virtue. Look back to previous names that had these types of downtrends and had fallen out of favor, and look for setups that worked for them, instead of trying to guess where Tesla's bottom is going to be, because you can just keep swinging at it, and it keeps making fresh lows. Eventually, you might catch one, but is it worth it? Or would you rather just get a trade that's a higher percentage to win? Well, you might not make as much, but it's a higher percentage shot that you've joined the resuming upward trend. So, be careful trying to find those bottoms on the long term, unless you're just buying it for 10, 15 years. When making a trade, catching a falling knife is a very tricky thing to do. You've got to have some solid reasons why you think it's curling. So there's your lesson of the day. And of course, the note on the execution, I was talking to Sharif, it was a mistake that I would do it all the time. And I think when you're a trader, if you're making a certain type of keystroke error or a certain type of execution error, just going back to the previous lesson I was talking about when I jumped in, never stop trying to find ways to improve it. Because you don't reduce your errors as a trader to zero. That's not possible. All you're ever trying to do is reduce them as close to zero as possible and trying to reduce how much they hurt you to as little as possible. So when I lose, I want to lose less. And if I'm making keystroke errors, I want to have that as close to zero as possible, knowing that you're not going to be perfect. So it's always a work in process, trying to figure out these tricks that can make you a little bit more efficient, whether it's in your trading or your execution. There's your lesson of the day.
Dang.
Thank you very much, Neil. Eloquent, informative, and just all around awesome as always. Neil Roberts, every day around that lunch hour when he's here, he will be dropping his Neilage during Neil's lesson of the day. Thank you very much. Something's going on here, Joseph, huh?
Yes.
All right. Big Tammy from Bama. You're going to have to calm down a little bit, Big Tammy. This guy's, he's already hitched.
Hey, man.
You can't be saying that kind of stuff in the chat. Selena could find her way to the chat.
Yeah, we don't want that.
See stuff
we don't
she
want
might
that.
not like.
She's in Muay Thai, man.
Big Tammy from Bama. And by the way, Big Spile will not like you using the big monitor. Like, that might be another
big.
problem.
Yeah, exactly.
There,
that's the larger issue. No pun intended there.
Oh, I like that. We're dropping the cat.
There you go.
All right, Joseph, I'm just going to cover
for sure.
my trade super quick. One positive, one negative. We did really well here on ADTX. Very proud of this trade. This one was curling, as we mentioned. We took the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. I took it out at from 860 all the way up into 910. So that's, I don't know, the umpteenth amount of trade I've had on ADTX. All positive. We're going to still look for that $10 break. This one is still on one. What wasn't executed well was the Lucid short. We saw what we liked, 248. There had been a lot of selling at 248, got short 248. This one ended up breaking the $0.50. Let's see if it's a specialist breakout to force you up above the $0.50, then push it right back down. I'm all eyes. So if this one does want to come down into that 10 exponential, I'll exact revenge here on Lucid and take it right back down. It's a free shorts type situation right now at Real Trading on LCID. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, we're guys, I don't even know. Hey, there we go. Cooking up here in Hood. Sorry, we got to do it there. We're going to talk some more Hood after.
Keep an eye here on Oracle, ORCL on watch. Bloomberg reporting that the company is basically considering a security backstop and a small stake in the company in order to get its TikTok deal. In case you missed it, it's been reported for at least a week now that Oracle is a contender here to get involved in the TikTok deal to keep TikTok, or at least part of TikTok, here in the U.S. Apparently, through this potential deal, Oracle would be offering a security guarantee if China keeps TikTok's algorithms. So some, deal specifications here reported by Bloomberg for ORCL. Back to you.
Yes.
TikTok's been advertising like crazy, eh?
Have they?
Yeah, I saw advertisements yesterday on CNN. They've been advertising some other platforms.
way.
Yeah, trying to get everybody on their side, like showing like small business owners who kind of like exploded their business selling on TikTok, like kind of trying to make the case, don't take that away from them, so to speak. So definitely doing a bit of an aggressive PR campaign right now. Temu ads, apparently. The Chile Nightmare says a bunch of platforms.
I got Temu on Snapchat a lot too.
Oh, you're on Snap, eh?
Yeah, I'm on Snap. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I'm on.
Okay.
You know that.
And X.
X. Well, I only hear usually.
Yeah,
I don't even have a login at home. I don't put it on my.
On X?
Yeah,
It's not on your phone?
No, I don't have it on my
smart.
phone. I don't have it on my phone, and I don't have it on my home computer, home desktop. So.
There it is.
Try to limit the social media intake there, guys. Let's see what we got cooking up here in Hood. Having a good one here, breaking through those levels, Pug Life. The thing is, I so agree with your thesis, and we need to keep an eye out for that $40 target right there. And that's what we're going to continue to do. That's going to be the primary signal and target that we're looking for. So yeah, going to be really, really patient. We don't have too much of our position left here. I don't know, let's see how much we got. I think a little bit, yeah, it's only about 33%. So yeah, that's exactly what we're playing here is the reversion. I talked about holding these levels. You can see, we'll zoom out to a 5-minute time frame, and you can see this base here. And that's essentially what I was playing off of that volume signature. So a really nice bottoming signal. I know Gorev's involved in this now as well too. So really, really good look. I like that we sold off 6%, put in those indecisions, and then now held those levels and are continuing to climb higher, and the market's starting to rally along with it. Nvidia back up to 117, positive sign. These big names are leading. The market is going to climb higher. So having fun with this. Let's see how much the VWAP is going to be that next target, because it is right around that $40 strike in the options chain that we want to pay high attention to. We're going to hold the remainder of the position until that level and see if it comes into play. We are running into current resistance, so we need to keep in mind the volume on the lower time frames and the time of sales is going to need to pick up in order for us to punch through. But that's the name of the game right here, guys. Be patient. Hold on to those positions. I'm also out of XPEV here, so we'll go over that one. I didn't want to hold on to it any longer. I don't think we climb. I was talking to Sharif. This one's most definitely a slow burner. He's like, yeah, that's what you get when you're on SSR. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, man, yeah, you're right. But nice trade here, guys. So entry here, that was our primary entry. Wait for the pullback. When it was ripping, I was so tempted to add going to full risk at this candle, but I'm like, no, be patient. That's the name of today's game. I showed you guys my rules from yesterday. They're still applied for today, and they're going to be applied for the foreseeable future, because that's what you have to do. And that's one thing I also wanted to touch on. Consistency isn't always necessarily making money every day or doing something in particular, like going to the gym every day. Consistency is also revolved around how quick you can rebound and get back on track, all right? If you're a professional athlete or whatever it may be, it's impossible to score every game. But what makes the real consistent individuals is the time period of from when they're at their peak performance to when they're not at their peak performance. It dwindles and it compresses, all right? So the smaller you can make that time frame of when you're not necessarily following your rules, the best or trading the best is something that I would classify as consistency, because it's just like being profitable day after day is really, really tough. But what you can do is be consistent in your day-to-day operations, all right? So, yeah, XPEV, that's the look there. And then we're in some hood. We're going to hold on to it as we continue to break. So really, really nice trade here on hood, running into the volume-weighted average price. We're going to take a little bit more off here, Sharif, just because, but only about another quarter of what I have remaining here. And then we're going to hold the rest for the volume-weighted average price. So nice squeeze there on hood. Gorev, I know you're in at 37, I believe you said. So congratulations once again. Nice work, my friend. Los Polios, nice work on the Qs as well. You mentioned those hammers. Way to identify those levels and continue to do
Great
so.
Great trades on hood, dude.
Yeah,
That's a fantastic look. Great entry. Look at all the different exits, man. I'm just surprised you didn't add into that, because you've been adding so aggressively.
Yeah,
that's fantastic look.
Yeah, this one I didn't necessarily have like what I would normally add to a setup. I didn't see those signals, so I just was like, all right, we'll just stick at the
That's a beauty though, bro.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. You literally have bottom.
Yeah,
have you ever been to Pursuit?
No.
So I went on the weekend. I totally forgot to mention this yesterday, dude. This was a sick time.
What is it?
So it's kind of like an adult playground where you can drive go-karts or climb, or like you can, I don't know.
Like obstacle courses.
Yeah, exactly. Like look at this. So you can tricycle.
Remember those in high school? I mean, in elementary school?
Dude, this is, if you have, is your girlfriend physically inclined?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you really need to go to this, or just a skip over for a sec. There we go. Like, look, there's all sorts of obstacle courses. Move out of the way, bro. And then you got to like zoom your way past that. Wow. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's in Etobicoke, it's 27 in Finch. Super physically demanding, but a hell of a time, dude.
All right.
And like, there's a ball pit. It was kind of the
did you bring a
lamest
little
thing.
date there or what?
Yeah.
Let's
It's nothing big, but yeah, it was a
See?
great time though. I just wanted to mention
Pursuit. That's
Pursuit
okay. That's
OCR.
done. That's probably being done this weekend.
And
I
it's
love
not
that, bro.
far from. If you're at Liberty Village, you just
dude,
zoom up 427, and then you're
and it's
basically
right there. Yeah, it's
so
27 and Finch. Yeah,
That's amazing. All right, so somebody was asking about NEO. I just want to mention NIO. Look, it's a good look on NEO today. The problem is it's getting a whole bunch of selling at the same level that we saw the selling in the pre-market. This one couldn't do anything better than 535 on the day. That's the pre-market. Look where that after the bell high is, 533. So this one's got a seller at 5 1/3. You don't need to be a chartered market technician to see that. So that's the bad side of the whole setup. Now the good side of the setup is that we're getting incrementally higher lows for what we call on this desk a flat top breakout. So typically when we see these flat top breakouts, we'll see an ascending wedge kind of form in anticipation of the flat top breakout. What's an ascending wedge? Well, essentially it's a triangle with a flat top. So we get incrementally higher lows, just like we're getting over here, all the while we resist breaking through an area high. I'm talking here about 530, 533. So you get accumulation, higher low, higher low, higher low, then kind of consolidation, and then usually you get a zoom, a big push with volume that takes it above the high of the day. Whether or not it retraces kind of really is dependent on the stock and what kind of sellers are waiting there intraday on the other side. But this does look okay. It's a sympathy play though. So there is a whole inherent risk of trading sympathy names because they're not the ones with the catalyst. Usually it's, the other one, obviously, that by definition, it's XBEV with the catalyst on the day. So keep your eye on NIO. It's not a bad look. It's up 4.5% on the day, but since the bell rang, we're down about 0.5%. So kind of flat since then. So a bit of a tough look there. We'll keep an eye out for that. I've got no trades on at the moment, guys. I do apologize. We've been trading these small caps literally all day, and there's none that I currently like at the moment. I was debating whether I want to enter QUBT. The issue with QUBT is I feel like we're getting a whole lot of selling at 930. Even though we're finding some support at the 10 exponential, it's been a series of lower highs. Essentially, these are 5-minute charts, 5-minute candles, on the 5-minute chart. And we've been putting in lower highs since 11:35. It's 12:20 right now, so almost an hour of sequentially lower highs. So I don't know if I want to take this. This could be a flat bottom break through 9. We'll wait and see. QUBT is the one I'm talking about there, up 14.2%. Some of the other quantum names started running, but it's really QUBT that's the champion of them today. It's up decidedly higher than all the others, 14% on the day, 22% since the bell meeting that this one started out the day negative and got back into positive. So we'll see what the situation is there. Swoldemort, thank you very much for the $5 super chat, but it does look like your message was withheld. What did you say, Swoldemort? Because Bears versus Bulls didn't like it. We're going to Adara.
Keep an eye here on Nvidia. Jensen Huang teasing us. That's the only way I can describe this. Ahead of this keynote, he said, quote, to a journalist, I guess before this event, he said, quote, everybody thinks they know what I'm going to talk about. You have no idea. So Jensen Huang getting a little ominous here ahead of his keynote again. We're expected to start this around 1 p.m. Eastern, so in just over half an hour. Let's see if we do in fact have no idea about what Jensen will say. Back to you.
Swoldemort, I heard what you said.
Swoldemort.
That was not appropriate, Swoldemort.
Wow.
But thank you for the super chat.
Yeah.
And shout out to Mr. C as well, 199. Guys,
straight,
can you check SPY? Do you want to check your trade and show that top wick before we get into SPY?
Yeah. Well, I'll let you bring it over here. But guys, Hood, I talked about it this morning. Yeah, up to no good. Up to real good here, Shreve, actually. But I talked about it this morning. I was talking about it last week. Even though we're still negative on the day, I think the buyers are going to step into this underlying asset here, and we're starting to climb. So really like this bottom grab here on Hood. So yeah, going to stick to this name. And I don't have any. I only have one out left, to be honest with you guys. So we're going to hold that for the dream, and that's going to be 40.
Hey.
So yeah, that's the look on Hood. You can see that the multiple entries here. So we entered there, and that's why I just got out, guys. And I'll talk about it one more time. So you can see that I got in here, took some off, about 30% of the position, got stopped out 66%. I'm like, okay, let me be more patient. Let's see if we can find something a little bit better. And then sure enough, we get it off the lows here around 39.20, and then we just take this beautiful, beautiful run to the top side. So yeah, that is the look on Hood. And that's what I want to do. So yes, I will be acquiring some calls in the near-term future on this name, and I plan to push it heavy. Full disclosure. There. So.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
No. That's okay. I can.
Yeah. I'm good to go.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So SPY.
SPY.
Mr. C, thank you again for the super chat. Here is the SPY, and so we're negative on the day. I mean, it's a quick view. You can kind of see that we are down 1.17 on the ES. It's basically the ES. Oh, what's going on here? How come we're about to roll onto the new contract, boys.
Yeah.
Friday's the new completely forgot that. I'm like, why is the ES June contract is doing double the volume of the ES March contract, and I didn't even have eyes on that. So I'm deleting right now the ES March contract. I'm rolling. I don't know about the boys, but I'm rolling. That you did earlier. The Katina man already rolled, so I'm kind of late to the party there. So let's go ahead and have a look at the ES on the new contract for June. It's because it's doing more volume, double, literally. So these are going to be new levels, obviously, which is fine. It doesn't really change a whole lot there. Support and resistance will stay the same on the chart, not the points, that is. So look, we're putting in lower highs and lower lows. There's really not a whole lot of good to say on the ES, and which is essentially the same as the SPY. Volume weighted average price on the ES 56.82. We're not even close to getting there. We haven't touched VWAP since the bell. There has been no touches by the ES on the volume weighted average price since we ran. We touched it a few times in the pre-market, all of which rejected at 57.20, 57.18, give or take. So I don't have anything bullish to say about the SPY other than, well, nothing really bullish to say, other than to say look for the shorts at VWAP. If we get into VWAP, 56.81 right now, that is the level on the ES June contract. I'd be looking short. I don't have a long today on the MAG or the overall market. All MAG 7 names, without exception, are negative, with Meta and Tesla faring the worst of the bunch. 4% for Tesla, 4 1/3 for Meta. It's now almost $200 off that high at 740. It's about 578 right now, so we'll see how far that one drops. Goggles getting shellacked as well, 2.5%. It's barely holding on to 160 at the moment. Let's have a look at the MAG. Actually, let me bring in my my e-signal charts because they include Netflix and Uber, and I like to include those with the MAG 7, even though they're not part of the MAG 7 because they're big boys as well. So Netflix above VWAP and Uber above VWAP. So is Nvidia, Amazon as well. Tesla's trying to weasel above VWAP. Google just reclaimed VWAP with Meta, Microsoft, and Apple. All three of those below the volume weighted average price. So they're definitely having a hard time retracing any sort of losses. Uber and Netflix look like the best of the bunch chart-wise, despite the fact that they're all red on the day. I mean, they kind of reclaim VWAP with some more vigor than the other ones. The other ones look to be consolidative. Uber and Netflix seem to be putting in higher lows and higher highs. So we'll see how that all works out. I haven't had any trades on the MAG, obviously. It looks like Apple was a spot on short onto the volume weighted average price retracement. This one dipped down, held basically the pre-market low at 212 3/4, pops back up into 214, essentially a couple of shekels above the volume weighted average price, and then all the way down it goes again into 213 or low 213s, that is. So a whole lot of weakness certainly in MAG 7 world. and the market at large. That's why we'll keep an eye on these small cap gappers. Let's see what exactly is setting up for the moment. And nothing here setting up in a good way. Not KBSX, not ADTX. ADTX definitely looks like it is destined for that volume weighted average price. It did defend 8 quite well last time with just a quick wick below 8. That's the one that pushed me out. I won't make that mistake again. I'll give it a bit more room. But the problem is we've got lower highs and that same low of $8. So this one does look like it's a flat bottom break. Candidate, possibly, maybe not that deep of a flat bottom break. I'll be waiting at VWAP. I was waiting at VWAP at 8 on ADTX before. Nothing filled because it didn't really breach 8. Let's see if it gives way at 8 this time. Let's see what else is going on over here. LCID, this one did pop up above 50, so it looks like the short was in play here down into 245. I'll be waiting. This time is a long on Lucid right around 241. I don't mind adding into this if it does breach VWAP by a couple of shekels because it's shown its propensity to breach VWAP before multiple times today. So if it does it again, I wouldn't be surprised. TIGR, I was kind of looking for possible continuation play here, but it looks like ever since we took out that 920 high day, we did print that 930 high day, but look at this. It's been awfully consolidated, really no direction ever since breaking into that level. 1135 till right now it's 1230, so almost an hour of sideways consolidation here on TIGR with nary direction being able to be discerned. So we'll keep an eye out on that. I'm looking at the scanner up top to see if there's anything new coming in. Nothing really here that's relevant at all. I'm seeing here QUBT, but we already have that bad boy on there. QUBT has held, though, to be fair to QUBT. It's been holding the 10 exponential quite well. The thing is, you're not really getting a big move up off that 10 exponential hold. So it's kind of a compression pattern right now. Maybe a move up, a bullpen. I don't know. Adara, what's up?
Tell you what's up, Sharif, or actually what's down here. It's Medtronic. MDT making a bit of a move here. It came in a couple minutes ago. The FDA saying that the company has removed its unused compatible pipeline Vantage embolization device with Shield technology. So I guess the removal of this technology, as again announced by the FDA, has sent this ticker to the downside. Keep an eye on MDT. Back to the Bash Brothers, which is half an hour until Jensen Huang and his, according to him, surprising keynote speech.
Yeah, don't be so quick to think you know what he's going to talk about.
No, there's absolutely no way I wouldn't. So
I was expecting a couple of things. Let's talk about it if you have a second.
Of course.
There was going to be that CPO, which is basically the overlapping of AI like computers with the networking. Networking's become such a big thing, especially since your boy Elon threw those 100,000 H100s together and surprised everybody, surprised the world, basically.
Yeah, didn't you say that Jensen was surprised?
Jensen flew out to see it. He couldn't believe it. To Tennessee or Nashville or wherever the hell he's got that data center. That's number one. Number two, so networking components. And then we want to hear about the delays for the Blackwell, for B200. It's overheating, this, that, and the other. Apparently it was fake news, but we still haven't seen them en masse. So something's going on there. That's number two. Number three, I want to hear about the next gen. So last year, this time, we got news about Blackwell, even though Hopper was all the hype, right? So what's that B300 going to look like? And what does it, like, last year, he kind of blew everybody away with Blackwell. He's like, yeah, it's going to be sick for inference because NVIDIA chips were known for training, not inference. And this one does both, Blackwell, that is. So what's the next one going to do? So again, you know, I'm basically saying everything everybody already knows. He seems to be coming out from a different angle. Lots of ways.
That's a good, I mean, what is he going to do here? Is he just going to release a new chip every year, like the iPhone or something along those lines? Because
basically,
Right. So that's how fast this technology is moving.
Probably, too.
That's how fast this technology is moving. Is that you can come out with a new variant every year. Well, so there you go.
Yeah, that's a.
Wow.
Oh, you got another message from your fan there, huh?
Did I? I
What's
didn't,
going on over
I didn't
there,
see
Joseph?
it.
You guys got some things going on over there, right?
Big Tammy from Bama.
All right. Shout out to Big Tammy from Bama.
Yeah, from Bama.
All right. No, we're joking, of course. But, you know, she's having fun with us. So
we're having fun, too.
Baby.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks like we may be weaseling back into that volume-weighted average price, Joseph. Let's change that NQ now. As I mentioned, I should be moving on to the new contract here. That's the old one. So let's go to the future and choose the June contract. Where are we at relative to VWAP? Okay. So we are quite close here to the volume-weighted average price. This could be a rounded bottom, man. And we could absolutely recover on this market. To go green on the market, where are we going to need to get to? Just allow me a sec to throw out the new contract. on there because it's not updating. Here we go, June contract. Now I can see it. So to go green on the June contract, we got to get above 20,050. That's going to be a hard road to hoe, I'll tell you that, unless we really get a buy into the afternoon. But we're awfully close to the volume weighted average price. I want to see if we actually reject 19,767. That's where I perceive VWAP to be. So 19.7 and 2/3 on the June contract now, guys, which is, by the way, doing about 100,000 more, 130,000 more shares than the NQ March contract, and there was about about 500,000 more shares on the ES June contract than there was on the March contract. So if you're charting on the future, it probably is a good time to switch over. I know that the technical expiration is Friday, but when the volume increases on one, that's when I typically jump over there. Joseph, what do you got on your side?
Yeah, I'm all out of hood now. I told you guys 40 was going to be my last out. We started to squeeze here. You can see that volume really start to pick up. So if we're trading all the way down here at 39, whatever it may be, so all that open interest at that 40 strike price starts to get closer to at the money. And then for all my options individuals, you know that Gamma's at its greatest at the money, and same with Delta, all right? So that's when you get that accelerated movement. If traders start to panic, then they're going to start covering their positions, and then that's when you get this squeeze-like type price action. And I think that's what was just displayed here in Hood. Even though we're not continuing, the market is climbing higher, but you can see the acceleration on these lower time frames as we started to approach that $40 strike price, and now we're kind of stalling there. So a little bit of a gamma effect there, guys, and really good look there from Pug Life. I know he mentioned the 40, and that's why I said I'm going to wait, because if that volume signature that I was referring to earlier comes into play, then we might be able to bounce in the market as well too, because Nvidia is continuing to climb higher. So that's a positive sign, and I like that a lot. I don't really want to look at Google just due to I'll obviously look at it, but just getting beaten up in the long-term account. So yeah, I'm not paying overly too much attention. It's just like, and that's one thing I'm focusing on too, is just rotating ideas and finding things that are working continuously to work. But there's some good bottoming signals here as well too, Sharif, on Google. Just on a 5-minute time frame, you can see we got a hammer at the low. It starts right here, but then you can see it's breached, but then you get the continuous buying pressure stepping in, causing those hammer-like dojis, and then now you put in that bottom a little harder to to determine that, like, hey, we're gonna bottom here. But if you were to just use a percentage metric and the continuous selling, and then you have a doji at an extreme low, then you can just use this as your risk measure and then continue to climb higher and higher. So if you traded Google from 157, you're a couple points in the money. Hopefully this name can rebound. I haven't talked about all the mag too much, I guess, but we'll take a look at Tesla as well. My buddy Greg V and Sharif and I were just talking about just like, hey, I don't know if this stock is ready. Greg doesn't like it for the long term. I'm like, I like this name for the long term, just not right now, just because of how the price action currently is. Obviously, like it, he doesn't like it for the long term, but he's also positioned well. He was in like pre-split, a nice amount of size, right? So yeah, exactly, right? So he's doing fairly well, but he's like, Joe, you got to take into consideration about how much unrealized gains I've lost from 480 all the way down to here.
I bet. I mean,
right? So,
all of us.
Exactly. Right? So yeah, you go up from being 100 up to 111%, and then down to like a 20% return. So it's just like, that's a hefty haircut on the unrealized. So
you know what? One thing that has been kind of the silence has been deafening, so to speak, to use an oxymoron, is we haven't heard a thing about the Model Q or the Model 2. Like, we were expecting that, apparently, second half of 25. Right? We're done Q1 of 25.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a valid point, Sharif. And that's why I don't take everything he says at face value. You know that Elon is a little optimistic on his timelines as well, too, right? And rightfully so. But when your stock has been beaten up more than 50% off of these all-time highs, I don't really know what to say. Do you focus back? I remember, I forget who mentioned it. He's only going to be in Doge for 6 months. I think Sean said that he's only going to be a part of Doge for 6 months. And then he said, yeah, I think that's 3 months too long. That might even be 5 months too long. Was it a report from Madera? So he's going to only be a part of Doge for 6 months, but that might be too long considering what we see here in the stock price.
So I think Doge technically has a mandate until January, right before the midterms. Right before the midterms, which would take us, I believe, to summer 2026. I could be wrong. I think they gave themselves a 2-year contract or whatever, 2-year duration. I think Elon specifically, the rumors were that he had a hotel for 4 months. He had earmarked 4 months off Tesla to be in Washington, where I think he's in the West Wing of the White House, to actually be in Washington to conduct the business of Doge. But Doge itself, if fact check me, chat, I'm pretty sure they have a 2-year mandate.
Okay,
I'm not 100% sure.
That makes sense. But then it leads to the question, we'll send it to Indira 1 second.
Yeah.
If you're Elon, ask yourself, is 4 months long enough to kind of eliminate the unuseful spending in the economy? I don't know. My answer would be no.
But if you believe the reports, we're going to go to, sorry, Adara. If you believe the reports, they're now saving up to $4 billion a day. If you believe the reports.
A day, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Adara.
Jeez.
So there's a lot here that's very complicated about the Department of Government Efficiency. And if you did not realize, we're good? Okay. So Department of Government Efficiency, just to give some background. So it actually is renamed here from the original U.S. Digital Service. So the technical DOGE acronym is actually USDS because it went from U.S. Digital Service to U.S. DOGE Service. So with that in mind, there is a subgroup within the U.S. DOGE Service. That is the U.S. DOGE Service Temporary Organization. That group here is apparently being led by Elon Musk. So Elon Musk has also been publicly stated to be the head of the DOGE service. And it is worth noting USDSTO, or the Temporary Organization, that is scheduled to be terminated on July 4th, 2026. There's also, Elon Musk has been publicly stated to be running the organization. On paper, it's being run by an administrator named Amy Gleason. So USDS here being run technically by Amy Gleason, though potentially also by Elon Musk, at least from what we've been told. And again, USDSTO, or the Temporary Organization, that is actually going to be terminated on July 4th, 2026. But because they've renamed the DOGE department from a previous department, it seems like that will be going on indefinitely. This Temporary Organization, though, again, set to end in just over a year, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, that's kind of what I remember specifically, is that it was going to be right before the midterms obviously in the fall of 26. So he basically has a couple of years where he controls, not he, obviously his party has a majority in the House, both the Senate, the House, and the executive. And then depending really on how you feel the Supreme Court is, there are more conservative judges on the Supreme Court than liberal judges. So if anything should find its way into the Supreme Court, which it looks like there will be quite a few, because there's a lot of legal challenges to a lot of the stuff they're doing right now. Looks like some of those will find their way to the country's highest court. We'll have to wait and see how that all pans out, Joseph. So thank you very much for that, Adara. I didn't actually know that Doge had been repurposed from a previous administration. First time I'm hearing of that. Thank you for that. Appreciate it as always. All right, I'm in a new position right now, QUBT. Look, kind of grasping at straws here. There is really not a whole lot to trade in small cap gapper world, but I do see a new one that somebody in the chat, I forget who it was, and so I really want to give you a shout out. If you want to tag me, let me know who you were. TNXP, they shouted out TNXP, and this one's at the high of the day, but it has a whole lot wrong with it in terms of things that I don't specifically like, volume being one of those. Obviously, only about 1 million shares traded so far, but it's got a hell of a pattern right now. I'm looking at the spread, 1904 in the ask, 1888 on the bid. I don't like that, certainly. We'll keep an eye on TNXP. But, QUBT just dropped. So we got the fill at 9, and now we're going to basically wait to see if 9 holds. So initially we were long, 9.17, wet the beak there at 9.27, and now it just dropped into 9. So it's going to have to hold this level. Otherwise, I'm not going to DCA into this. $9, my line in the sand for QUBT. Let's see what comes of this one. But I'm going to load up TNXP as well, because it keeps making up higher highs right now. 1909, the high of the day on TNXP, breaking out as we speak, 17.2%, Joseph.
Yes, good look there, my friend. So we're going to be sitting patient here, guys, waiting for a potential setup. I'm not going to be trading weak names, so avoiding Tesla. We like Hood. Can we hold the volume weighted average price and then look to get involved once again on this name? I think so. What we'll do is we'll just be a little bit patient. So we went 2 for 2. I mentioned that we tried it earlier in the day, and then look at this time frame that we just sit on our hands for a little bit and wait for a potential setup. So around what time is this? Around 9:37. We didn't get back in the trade until 11:14. So there it is. You don't try to catch those falling knives, even though we often try to. Make sure those signals are displayed, and then you can partake in that front. So yeah, really nice trade here. Let's see if this 39.80 can hold, or maybe we come back and retest this breakout level and then take an additional leg to the top side. We just need to be weary of that open interest at 40. All right. So if you get that squeeze, then we'll continue to climb higher. But right now it's looking like we're continuing the hedge and the downward pressure. So maybe someone offloading some shares, selling some shares as we push back down. So just wait for that level to come into play and hold around 39.70. And Gaurav, yeah, I know you were in at 39.36 or something along those lines. Nice work. Los Pollos was trading the TQs. Nice work on that one. Gaurav was also in on the SPY, which we are now starting to pull back in. We do have the Playmaker pull up, guys, so make sure you vote that one. 56% to the long side. It does seem that sentiment has changed in the chat. We're going short for quite some time, and then now back to the long side. But let's hopefully some of these buy signals can hold up. The Qs are still down on the day. We'll take a look at that from a percentage metric to see what we got going on. Yeah, so still negative about 1.7% there. Yeah, tough look here, guys. And I mentioned that, and I said this to Greg yesterday as well, too. I'm like, this just gives me pullback vibes. Just to speak in Toronto terms, I guess, maybe, I don't know, whatever. But it just kind of feels like pullback-esque type price action. And then maybe we go and test these lows. If we crack these lows, I think it's going to get a little bit uglier, especially if people start to panic sell. And we don't have anything on the options chain that says, hey, we're looking to climb a little bit higher. So just be weary in the coming days. I think FOMC is not this week, I don't believe, but be patient for that there, guys. But we do have, when is it? Sorry?
FOMC tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow? Okay, yeah, this one. Sorry, I thought it was next Wednesday. So tomorrow FOMC is, and then Friday is also quad witching as well, too, guys. So a lot of expiration there. Is it Friday? No, it might be. Yeah, it is Friday. So yeah, 2 Fridays right now. Pardon? Yeah, I know. I'm so lost. Yeah, exactly. Maybe I'll just stop talking from a. No, I'm joking. I'm totally joking from a date standpoint. But yeah, I'll double check when quad witching is just to confirm. It is Friday, so yeah, there we go. Yeah, exactly. So be wary of that, guys. We're gonna see a lot of volume on the open, especially in some of the larger underlying assets. So during quad witching, watch out for Apple, Amazon, and the mega cap techs. You're gonna see a large amount of volume. That's just covering, exercising, people being assigned, and it's going to be extremely outlying. You're going to be able to identify millions of shares traded in the first 5 minutes of the day. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that. That's going to be exciting. Yeah, Terrence Pence. Yeah, exactly. There's this one meme where Buddy says that he's doing that. He's like, yeah, my sister has PTSD, and then he just said like he botches the PTSD, what the standing of PTSD is. And he's just like, oh, I'm tripping out. He's tripping out. So yeah, that's what that reminded me of. But no, yeah, guys, we'll keep an eye out for those. We're gonna have, I think Friday is gonna be a good day. I'm gonna be looking at some of those big names, and we're gonna hold off until then, Sri.
So you asked me this a few days ago, and I gave you a very straightforward answer. The answer was no. Have you added Joseph Wilson anything to the swing or long term on this drop?
On this drop, no. I mentioned I have not. The long term is looking to get liquidated, the majority of it anyways, right? We don't want to be in some of these names, and we want to do a little bit of a rotation. But as for swings, yes, I'm looking at Hood, and then I also have an order out on the overall market, guys, for a bull put spread. So that is me doing some credit spreads, right? So I'll do some credit spreads for the overall market to be holding, but those are just monthly. I'll see if I catch a fill. I wouldn't be surprised if I did, but essentially what I'm doing is I'm selling 460, looking for this level to hold, and if not, then other than that, those are my 2 game plans. I find as of lately, Sharif, that I'm really more decisive on my entries, because I think when I have a trade plan, definitive trade plan from a swing standpoint, I'm a lot more accurate, and I also maximize the potential profits of these trades as well.
I love hearing it, man.
So bull put on Qs, and then I'm going to go long some contracts with the September expiry. I showed you guys the ticket this morning on Hood.
All right.
Yeah, man. How about you?
I haven't added anything
you haven't
yet.
added
I
anything.
want to kind of get an informal poll from the chat. Would you guys like it if we gave you swing ideas on a Monday? If we'd be like, all right, here's what we were charting on the weekend, or on a Friday perhaps. I don't know, maybe Friday or Monday, something to start off or end the week. And the idea would be to kind of see what we're looking at for maybe a week hold, a 2-week hold, something like that. Let me know if you guys would like something like that to kind of, just vary the day trading aspect of it and include some swing trading. If we all kind of gave you ideas, obviously the big boys going to have plenty of ideas as well. So let me know exactly kind of what you feel there. It kind of feels like most of you guys are saying yes. Hell yeah. We're gonna getting the informal poll. Let's just call this an informal poll. Yeah, lots of people liking this idea. I kind of felt that this might have a little bit of backing from the chat. Yeah, loving. Okay, all right. So we'll try to weasel into something for you guys. No question about that. I just think that there's so many good ideas that a lot of us have that we don't really convey to you guys. I mean, Joseph was basically looking at Hood today. We had ideas on possible Palantir shorts for, that top that we never really talked about. The Katina Man, you had that BBAI monster as well. The Katina Man had that as well. So there's lots of different swing ideas I think that a lot of us have. That we don't necessarily convey to you guys. Okay, so it seems to be pretty unanimous here from you guys in the chat. Obviously, it's an informal poll, just a matter of answering. Okay, thank you for your responses, guys. Here's the deal. We're involved in a new trade. So we're long Lucid at VWAP. That isn't new. But HMR just popped up aggressively there on a 2-candle hold. So I got long with small shares at 87. I'm 2 pennies or 3 pennies out of the money right now as it just popped back up. I am worried about a 390 top. It showed its propensity to reject 390. The thing about this one is, based on where my entry is and where I perceive support to be, which is 370, it gives me a bit of room to be able to dollar cost average into that 370 area. In addition, the 370 being previous price action resistance, possibly now support. VWAP also goes through there. So I think I will fight my way into HMR. It's up 40%. Let's see if it retraces and makes me look bad. Adara is at the big desk.
I am Sharif, and what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about Nvidia because its conference, the stream has begun. I saw some people in our chat talking about this, and I want to confirm the audio is incredibly choppy. Jensen Huang has not yet taken the stage yet, though, so hopefully the audio will improve once he takes the stage. Here's Nvidia in a nice uptrend off of its lows, heading into that event. So again, we are expecting this to start around 1 p.m. Eastern, so in about 10 minutes. And Jensen himself has already told us that people should not know what to expect from his speech. People think they know what they expect, and they're probably wrong. So we'll have to wait and find out if that is indeed the case. Right now, though, it looks like the video feed just began, so let's see if this audio improves as we're awaiting Jensen Huang, guys. Back to you.
All right, Joseph, what do you got, baby?
Same thing here. Guys. Being really, really patient. The market now selling down. Market selling down a little bit here, coming back into or south of the VWAP, heading back to the lows of the day here, guys. So a really tough look in the market and SPY. Gorv, hopefully you took some off the top there, my friend, because he was in right at the lows. 59.36 he told me in, and then he got up to VWAP, and then you can see that we rejected it. But look for these levels to hold as well, too. I'm going to pull up the chain one more time just to see what we got cooking up here. From that standpoint, and see why are we rejecting around the 561 level fairly aggressively. And there's nothing from an OI standpoint to say, hey, this is where we're going to reject. But 565, there is some open interest at those specific strikes. And then one thing to note is that so on the put side here, guys, $12,600 contracts at 560. Let's see if this base holds. Hopefully it doesn't break through. If people have to start letting go of shares, then you might see us crack and then continue to the south side, and that momentum might pick up. So again, in this market, guys, if you're getting those extended pops, look to take some shares off. Leave a little bit of a runner, but I made the mistake on multiple occasions, like 66% here, and last week as well too, only taking off about 30, like $15 to 30% of the trade and then getting stopped out on the other 66%. It's okay. Just take what the market gives you. Look to get back in those trades, and then if they display themselves, just because of the volatility in the market is here, you're going to get a lot more fluctuation here in the market. So the chances of you getting that entry that you want are going to be significantly higher. So,
Guys, there's a big downturn
that,
in the market right now. I heard it. I wanted to mention that Apple is really dropping right now into lows 211.58. Multiple VWAP projections. Keep your eye on the market. Adara, tell us more.
Unsure if this is the reason for this downturn in the market, but it is worth noting here. We do have apparently the White House is expected to provide a readout pretty soon here of the call between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. I think initially we heard the call ended about 20 minutes ago, so I'm unsure if that's the reason for the drop, but it is worth noting. I wanted to do this call regardless to let you guys know that in addition to keeping an eye on the Nvidia event, we also have an expected readout here soon of the call from Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, which began about 10 a.m. Eastern, ended about half an hour ago. Also, the Nvidia stream has begun. The audio has improved. Jensen Huang has still not taken the stage, but I will be covering that, and I will let you guys know as anything comes out there. Back to you.
Yeah, I'm just talking to Randy about the upgrade on Lucid. So here's what we're looking at. The upgrade reflects optimism about new leadership, potential AI integration beyond EV manufacturing. Doesn't really sound that all great. Analyst Adam Jones believes Lucid could leverage partnerships to expand EV production capacity. Well, don't they need to sell them before they build them, Randy? The Gravity SUV, Lucid's latest model, is seen as a key player in the company's second-generation software. Listen to this, though, Randy. Look at this. The Gravity SUV has been seeing strong demand, with customers opting for the high-end configuration, exceeding $120,000. That's US, dude. So if you got money, you got money. Exactly. That's the thing. I feel like at the higher end of the earnings spectrum, they're not feeling any sort of pinch. And you see that with the airlines, with business class and stuff like that doing real well. These higher-end cars doing real well. Do you know, speaking of higher-end cars, 40% of Ferrari's current buyers are under 40 years old. You saw that. You saw that. It's crazy what's happening in these
we're not buying any of it. What's the DAP for?
I'm not buying any of that.
What was the DAP for? We're not buying any of those.
Because he's a car guy.
Yeah, he's a car guy.
DAP for. Yeah. Don't I need permission to DAP?
It's like, yeah, everyone under 40. I'm sitting here, well, I'm not driving.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's literally the only one under 40. Yeah. All right, guys, we're involved still in HMR. I didn't sadly get the ad. I had the ad waiting at 71s. It dipped into 75s. Again, I set 71 to front run VWAP. This one does look like it's either going to double top at 390 or it's going to blow through 4. So I've put my orders through the break there of the high of the day to account for any price spikes. We'll see if we get them. So far, Bubkiss. Los Polos Hermanos. Rivian is up 6% today. Is there any news? Thanks. Let me have a look. I didn't think I saw anything on Rivian. Probably a sympathy play with Lucid. Oh, no, it's got its own, my man. It's a benchmark reiteration of a buy. Rivian Automotive shares are trading higher. Benchmark reiterated their buy rating on the stock. Do they have a price target? $18. They are priced that, so that's about a decent premium. We're trading at $11.60 right now, so an $18 price target. So a couple of good tailwinds today for Lucid, for Rivian. Lucid with a bigger move on the day percentage-wise, but Rivian, I would submit to you, just my guess here. I have no idea what happens in the future. Likely a better candidate, Rivian, that is. I feel like, I don't know, we'll see. Jay Lee, Sharif, Joseph, I'm also put shorts on Tesla about 20 minutes ago. Let's go. More dumpage. My man wants blood today. Shout out to Jay Dang Lee, one of the chat OGs, no doubt about it, Joseph. So yeah,
yes, sir.
In HMR right now, looking for that pop-up, as well as Lucid. Are we in the money on Lucid or out of the money? I bought it at VWAP. We are break even on it right now. It's kind of holding VWAP. I knew that the money fills would be a breach of VWAP, hence why I waited at 40 there. But we'll see if we can get the first print there. I'm waiting at 45s. It's now showing me 43s, but it's very, very thickly traded, okay? Just to give you some idea, 122.5 million shares have already traded on the day on LCID, and it's been like in a tight range. 238 to the downside, and for the most part, 248 to the high side with a couple of breaches up here into the $0.50, Joseph. ADTX as well. I want to mention this one we were involved in multiple times today, and it's at VWAP. I'm really concerned, though, with ADTX being a flat bottom break through that volume weighted average price. So it's been umpteen amount of lower highs since we put in that high day right to start the show at 11 o'clock. And since that time, it's been umpteen amount of lower highs. Now at a key technical level, the volume weighted average price, as well as, look at that breakout level from, the ascending wedge. The closing prints are all at 760, 750. So we'll see if that one wants to take it up. All right, I see HMR's breaking out. So there we go. We get the first print. I'm really disappointed with myself not having added. I waited. It didn't give me the print. So now let's see if we weasel on up into 97s. We just broke through that local area high. The high of the day is 95s. We're showing 94s. There's a whole lot of greenery right now on my time in sales. Let's see if we can break through that level. I'm talking about HMR, small cap gapper up 45%, Joe.
Yeah, good luck there, guys. I'm still waiting for this hood setup potentially as well, too. So we'll be patient on that. Again, I don't like where this market is exactly sitting. We're continuously putting in some more hammer candles on the 5-minute. So this is really good for bottoming signals. I like this. Am I going to chase SPY? No, I'll use the vehicle TQs, but I also want to see what the NAS is up to, because if Tesla and some of the big names continue to sell, then I don't really love the thesis. But what we can do is we can draw a specific trend line here, and you can see that we're constructing higher lows. We don't want to buy any. Constructing higher lows, which is a positive sign, and now punching through VWAP. I was going to enter hood once again here, but I think that ship has now sailed. So I have to be really, really cautious on that front. Again, I do like it around this level. Nice holding of the, nice pullback hold here, guys. As you can see, we drew this trend line as well. So from that bottom pivot all the way across. So really, really intact, and that's what you want to stick to. If you can get the lower end of the channel, then I think you're going to be much better positioned. Right? But again, we weren't there. So you can see from this trade after we drew this, but now just how it was respecting it, we didn't have all of this necessarily when we entered that trade, but you can see the difference in risk to reward here from trade 1 to trade 2, or sorry, I should say trade 3 to trade 4. Again, imagine I was in at the lows off of that volume signature. And the thing is, you're not going to catch the bottom right away. You need confirmation within the signal. So here we go. We have that engulfing candle. You play the break, but then you can use this low as you're out. So with this trade, I have to look at the next support level. It's there, but you're still in the middle of the range, right? So it's like, okay, yeah, if it comes to their liquidity grabs, you really want to hold this to the low of the day, because that's that line in the sand that we want to be able to identify, and that's what the volume signature you're essentially playing off of is, okay? But then here we go, we pull back nice. I said I'm going to wait for the support levels to hold. Worst case scenario, I'm holding until there, so that's what, about a 30-cent stop here on this name in order to grab, even though I was using about a 20-cent stop on this, or yeah, 25 cents there. So there you go, 25 cents all the way from 39.20 to all the way to 39. So that's 75, almost a 3-to-1 trade on that front. So yeah, that's just how I necessarily look at things. I do believe that the market continued to bounce here, guys. Let's see if we can hold the volume-weighted average price. Nvidia just put in a nice volume spike here as well, too, Shreve.
Yeah, that's what Safe was saying.
Yeah, exactly. So you can see it here. The volume started to increase. A nice engulfing candle as well, too. We're running into these pre-market lows and yesterday's lows as well, so you can see this being respected. Hopefully that this momentum can continue. Wait for that pullback. It takes a lot to get this name moving, but I believe with that volume increase and that nice strong candle, we can slowly grind higher, and then maybe 120 will be in the works for today's session. We're going to take a look at the options chain real quick before we send it back to my guy and see what we got going on for this week's expiration cycle, and if there's any, wow. Oh,
what?
Okay. That's a lot there. I was not expecting that there, guys. So if you have access to your options chain or anything along those lines, 120, we might see some options pinning. We have 142,000 open contracts at 120 on the call side, and then 139,000 on the put side. Wow, I don't know if we're going to punch through 120 today, Sharif, on NVDA.
Yeah,
that's a lot. That's a lot of open interest. That's like earnings amount there.
I want to mention something here from Dan the Man. Great question, Dan, and I think this is a question a lot of other people could have. Let me just throw in the ticker there. So ES, June 2025 contract. So here's Dan's question. Earlier you mentioned a contract was ending and a new contract was being traded. Could you explain that further? I don't understand exactly. Do the same contracts trade on and off? Fantastic question. So what you need to know is the market has a futures contract, and there's 4 of these contracts per year. They expire every 3 months, okay? And the point of them is, historically, they were to hedge, okay? It's not being exclusively used for that anymore. So the futures contracts, if you went long a stock, you could that was like say a Mag 7 name, you could take a short position on the futures or anything like that. Okay, so it was a hedging mechanism. I think it originally started in the commodities industry, if I'm not mistaken, for like farmers and other people who were dependent on future prices to hedge their positions. But I'm not 100% sure about that. The point is, every 4 months, we've got a contract expiring and another one coming into effect. So, case in point, we had the December contract. When that expired, I think December 20th or something like that, we started trading on the March contract, which is 3 months down the road. When the March contract comes close to expiration, we start trading the June contract, and then there'll be a September contract, and then back to the December contract we go. So that's what we're talking about. There's these futures contracts for the ES, the NQ, the Dow, the Russell, and more. It's not just these are the only ones, but they typically, you'll have 4 contracts per year. Now, some commodities contracts like oil, nat gas, they expire every month. Like oil has a different contract literally every month. The April contract right now for oil has done about 58,000 shares. The May contract, 214. So that's how you're able to discern which one to trade. So if you see both contracts on there, you see an April contract and a May contract on oil, look at the volume tab. Which one is doing more volume? If you see the one that's doing more volume, that's the one you should be trading. It's not a hard and fast rule. That's what we do here. You can choose what to do on your own, but that's what they are. So the ES, which is basically the futures of the S&P, the NQ, which is the futures of the NASDAQ. These have 4 contracts per year, and the reason we look at them is because they're quite reflective of the overall market. So if the Mag 7 are all doing quite well or the overall market is up, you'll typically see the futures contracts up, and vice versa. And sometimes we use them to be able to distinguish strength and weakness in the market. For example, if 6 of the Mag 7 names are strong and one is weak, we can kind of juxtapose that, or any variation thereof. We can juxtapose that with the futures contract. We're like, oh, look, all 6 Mag 7 or 6 of the 7 Mag 7 names are strong with the futures, but Apple is weak on the day. So you can always make these comparisons to kind of just try to spot differences between them. So I hope that helps. That's what we're looking at right now. This is the ES June contract, which is doing almost 100,000 or almost 1 million shares more than the March contract. What's going on over there, Katina, man? That's all good? I'm like, at fruit salad time. I usually don't hit it at this time. The Katina man short Nvidia at 118.40.
Good trade.
So he's basically, almost top wick there. Shout out to the Katina man. It did reject that 50 penny area. We're going to shout you out anyway, brother. Here we go, all the way down. So he's already 40 pennies in the money. Now he'll hit the fruit salad, he says. Okay, I like that. So that's a look right now, guys, in case you're wondering what is going on. Adara, when is Jensen keynote again? Supposed to be now, but he hasn't come on quite yet. It's supposed to be 1 p.m. It's now, as you can see on the bottom right corner of your screen, it is 1:06 p.m. We're expecting Jensen at any time. It is the GTC Nvidia conference all week with the keynote expected by Jensen today, as I mentioned, 1 o'clock. Don't forget about Thursday, though, Quantum Day. That's going to be big for your Rigettis, your QBTS, your QUBT, IONQ, and many others as well that have been running in sympathy with, or just the quantum industry in general, Joseph, has kind of been running there. So Yep, that's all for now. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm just talking to Diggity Jacobs, man. We got a lot going on in the chat over here, Sharif. So, yeah, one thing that I want to point, he said he mistaken something. He said, oh, sorry, Joseph, that's volume. Even though the volume at those strikes wouldn't equal to the amount of open interest at 120 there. But 122, there's a lot of OI. But one thing that I just want you to note is that actually, no, it's not. Okay, so yeah, it's the volume as well, too. So, yeah. Options pinning, I like Katina Man short on NVDA there. 142,000 open contracts at 120 and then 139,000, on the put side. So we have a balance on both sides, on both sides of the put chain there. Right? So what happens, you get the push and pull effect, right? So you can't go higher, you can't go lower, and then that's what pins the stock at a specific price there. So let's see if we can pass through 120. I don't think that's going to be in the works today, so I do like that short on NVDA into some of these pre-market highs. I know Katina Man said he was short on that one, so yeah, really good look. You can see us run into the pre-market lows here around 118.78, reject that, and now continuing to move to the south side. In order for us to break these levels, we're going to need a lot of volume and momentum to do so. So keep that in mind, guys. Option high levels of OI at 120 on NVDA. So from a bullish standpoint, not looking too good. Can you ask Joseph which webs? Okay, yeah, I'll message you that in the chat separately. It's not necessarily a website, but yeah. Anyways, guys, yeah, so guys, let's see what's going on. We're gonna wait for this trend line to hold here in Hood. Meta not looking too good either. Looks like some of these mag names want to take a little bit of a dive lower. Let's see if the trend line holds on the Qs. I think if you can get at the lower end of the channel, then you'll be sitting pretty good. But let's see what Adair's up to, guys.
It looks like this Nvidia keynote is about to begin. We went from some dramatic music that we had for about the past 15 minutes. Now we have an opening speech or comment, I guess a pre-prepared video. Again, Jensen Huang has not taken the stage yet, but it's basically mirroring what we had with AAPL. Ahead of the keynote, there's a short little video, so we're going to have to keep an eye out here. When Jensen takes the stage, I will let you guys know right away. I'll put it on the screen, and I'll also tell you guys what's being said. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
So there's a good question here from Diggity Jacobs. What are your thoughts on daily volume exceeding OI, dip and rip? That's a good question. It's a little bit tough to answer, I think, as well, too. So one thing to keep in mind is that the volume will reset every day, but open interest will remain whatever it is throughout the whole lifespan of that contract. So if that helps your question any, I'll pay attention to volume, but I do like to see more levels of open interest, and that's what I gauge. I don't want to have analysis paralysis per se and be like, okay, volume's telling me this, options, the OI is telling me this, etc., whatever it be. So I just focus on certain things. So I'll look at delta, right? So when I'm writing options, delta is really key. And then I'll look at open interest just for like support and resistance zones throughout the lifespan of that contract. So yeah, that is the game plan. Hopefully that answered your question. Looking for this level to hold here in the Q Shreve. Maybe then we'll enter at the low of the channel, my friend.
Yeah, as Adair mentioned, the Nvidia event has kind of started. They're just kind of going through this kind of promotional video at the moment. It's on Nvidia's website or their YouTube homepage. They're kind of just outlining all the different use cases, I think, robotics, pharmaceuticals, driving, aviation, all the different use cases that I'm assuming AI is going to be good for. We got a view of what looks to be like an Optimus-style robot right now, and he's helping a mom cook in the kitchen. I mean, I'd be all about that life, bro. I mean, I don't like dicing my vegetables. That takes awfully long because I'm super OCD and they have to be amazing. Yeah, so I don't like doing that. I don't particularly like making the 12 eggs every day.
Do you have the dicer?
I do, Joseph, but it takes quite a bit of time to actually get that thing. So I'm just like, bun it.
Well, I'm like you, though, Shreve. I like to dice my fresh vegetables. It depends on what I'm using it. You don't.
I'm all about
that.
Oh,
yeah. Always consistently every meal I'll dice up some fresh vegetables. So there's like onions, green peppers, yellow peppers, whatever it may be, tomato.
Where's the fiber supposed to come from?
Right. So you got So I like that. I mean, I think that was just an amputee. It looked like that had a robotic arm.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's another obvious use case.
Right.
No question about
which is going to be pretty cool.
There are closed captions right now, guys, for these. So if you want to watch them, It looks like Jensen is coming on now. He's being welcomed onto the stage. So the OG Jensen. Now the question for me is, what kind of jackets he's going to have on? It better be black and it better be leather. And of course it is. Get it, Jensen. All right, Adair's at the big desk.
How much do you think that jacket cost?
A lot. I don't know.
I was just going to say here exactly what Sharif said. We do have Jensen coming onto the stage, extremely excited in a jacket that is both black and leather, as Nvidia pushes here into today's highs, also trying to take out some of these pre-market levels. So this is the speech. Again, be aware, Jensen did say that it's going to surprise people. It's not going to be what they necessarily thought it was going to be about. So be aware, keep an eye on the market and an NVDA as we get a very futuristic backdrop for this presentation. Back to you.
Yes, Adara, that is one giant screen. Is that green screen that he's on? Because that's just like the biggest screen I've ever seen in my life that he's standing in front of there. So shout out to the OG Jensen in the very typical black jacket right now. So we're going to be keeping an eye on this. Adara is at the big desk. You better believe if there is breaking news headlines, we will be going to Adara and she's going to be giving you the goods there. So stick with us. We got you covered on this. You don't need to be listening to it and, you know, focus on every little thing. We're going to be able to cover that for you here at Trader TV. No question about it. So I'm very interested to hear what he's talking about. Again, there are closed captions provided by Nvidia on the video stream. All right, current trades that we're in, Joseph. We've been holding HMR here at 87s. We got the beak wet on the break of 90. We still haven't DCA'd into this, into the volume weighted average price. I'm going to move up my order just a skosh there to add a little bit more to the position. I'm talking about HMR. I'm also holding Lucid at the volume weighted average price. We're in the money on this, but not by that much. It is a bit of a slower trade right now on LCID. It did kind of slow down for whatever reason. It had been really kind of using VWAP as obvious area support and then bouncing back up, not doing that as aggressively now. So we're going to keep tabs on that. QUBT as well. Where are you, QUBT, you little punk? I think I took off QUBT for HMR. Let me just double check that. No, that's incorrect. Let's go over here. I don't want to switch it. There it is. So QUBT breaking back above $9, kind of double bottom there at 870. I got pushed out of this, so that's going to be one of my only negative ones on the day. But there is that 930 top end of the range that I'd like to see break. If we do get that 930 break, that would really give me a good reason to get in at the. Well, not at the moment. We'll see when it does break. So that's what I'm looking at right now. We're going to keep an eye on these bad boys and try to nurse the positions that we're currently involved in. Yeah, so he's talking about pixels. He's talking about, he's putting, pictures of the backdrop there that apparently were generated by AI, which is insane because the clarity and the rendering there, you just got to imagine what kind of GPUs are required for that kind of thing. So, yeah, we'll keep tabs on all that. Joseph.
That looks amazing.
Ridiculous, dude.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
So really cool stuff there from Jensen Wong. I gotta watch that. I gotta listen to that Rex Friedman. I think the one
Lex
thing.
Friedman, yeah.
Lex Friedman.
He's got these two nerds that come on and they smash 5 hours.
Yeah. I gotta listen to that one.
I think it's literally one of the only podcasts you will need to kind of get the full grasp of it. You're not going to be an expert, but you're going to understand all the different areas of it.
Yeah.
After that.
Yeah. So they got to start somewhere eventually, right? So
yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. We have a really good question in the chat from Nick. Do you guys ever enter shorts on green candles and longs on red candles? What circumstances can make you execute these trades? If you do, that's a really good question. And I haven't necessarily thought of it from that standpoint, but what I will do is I'll wait for confirmation, and whether that confirmation be a red candle if I'm going short or a green candle if I'm going long. It's just that confirmation candle and how it opens up, where it opens at. So I like that question. I think that's the best I can personally answer it because that's not necessarily a data point that I'd be looking at. Is it a green candle that I'm entering on, whatever it may be? But I like it. Again, just wait for that confirmation candle. If you're short and it happens to be, okay, I want it to open up below the range and then you can continue to sell it, then okay, then it's going to be a red candle candle, and the same thing on the long side. If you wait for that confirmation and it happens to be a green candle, then that's what it is. So I think confirmation is really key when you're looking to enter a trade. So hopefully that answered your question. It goes different across the board here for Sharif, Neil, Sean. We all have different styles of trades. You know that Sean and Neil, they do dip buys, so they can be buying on a red candle, whatever it may be. It's all exclusive to, I think, style there, guys, all right? One thing that I do like here is XPEV. It's starting to put in somewhat of a base. I want to try to catch the lower end of the range here, guys, and then maybe take a little bit of a move to the top side. We know that it's going to be a slow burner. Just going to be really patient. I don't want to be buying into resistance unless this volume on the lower time frame continues to be sustained and picks up a little bit, and then that momentum goes as we push through, and then a retest of this zone, and then we see if we can continue to climb higher. I do like where we are opening up at. So to go back to your question, Nick, it's like, okay, if I'm looking to play a breakout trade, I don't want to see a red candle right here. I want to see a strong green candle and open up at above this zone, and then look for that volume to step in, and then you can continue to that. So from that standpoint, I would be looking for a green confirmation candle, and I would wait for this candle to flip to the other color, but I'm not going to chase it here. I do believe we can catch mid-range or even a little bit lower than that, but if it does break out, so there you go. That's a good possible print right there. As we run into these resistance zones, you can see the strength on the time of sales as well too. So look for that to continue to hold, and that's what I'm going to do here for XPEV there. What do you got cooking up there? You got
what's going on over there, Katina, man?
And yeah, it's exactly. So yeah, good luck.
Reloaded the position, 119 short, and but I was gonna hit it. All right, he's in the dollar club now. All right, still listening to Jensen right now. What's going on? Dipped aggressively through 118. So it looks like, he was just kind of introducing the topics there. He's talking about, perception AI, generative AI, and then the next step, agentic agents like operator, and then physical AI, as we've been talking about. He's already got a couple of products that are already out there for physical AI. The Jetson, not Jensen, the Jetson computer, which is, kind of a small portable computer that can be put onto robotics. He's been putting out different versions of these. Here we go. We're zagging. We're losing the bid right now. Keeping an eye on what he's what he's saying. He hasn't really said all that much quite yet, but it's going to be very volatile right now. He is live. He is making statements. So be on the lookout right now, guys. Jensen Huang delivering, I should say, the keynote address. I'm still keeping an eye over here on HMR. We got another pop into 95s where I went the beak last time. I'm still waiting in front of 4. HMR's got a lot of selling in front of 4s right now, so I'm trying to pack my patience on this bad boy, but I haven't been able to add any more into HMR, and we don't have that many shares currently. So I'd like to be able to take a little bit more. TIGR, another one that we were trading on the day, is breaking into the high of day. This looks like it could be a flat top break with higher lows, and that 930 level has been holding up essentially as a high of day since we put that high of day at 12 o'clock. So it's now an hour and 20 minutes that we've been rejecting this 930 level as the high of the day. Again, all the while putting in those higher lows. So a bit of a ascending wedge right now on TIGR. Free for shorts for those trading on the real trading network. You don't got to pay for shorts on this bad boy. They are provided free of charge. Still holding this lucid long. We're break even on it. I've been packing my patience, waiting for either this VWAP level to give up or at least to print something to the high side, neither of which has printed at the moment. So keeping tabs on that. He's talking about superhuman rates and super real-time rates. What the hell does that even mean, Johnson? Come on, bro. I give us something in English, baby. So keeping an eye out on that. What's going on over there, Katina, man? Katina, man, he's not going to say anything anybody understood, right? Because he is Jensen Huang, right? And he does have superior intelligence. What do you got over there, Joseph?
I'm posted up here on XPEV. I want to see if I can catch the range here, guys. Maybe just start a position. We are starting to trade up into this resistance zone, and it's looking like it wants to break. Here we go. Yeah, that. Oh, wow. Okay, there we go on XPEV, guys. Breaking through the resistance. Now starting to squeeze there. I mentioned that I was posted down here. Eric or whoever, Nick asked that question. That was that confirmation candle starting to squeeze. You got 7 pennies in a matter of a split second there on XPEV, and the volume is supporting it. I was posted up down here at 22.64 in case I wanted to get in, but it looks like that ship sailed on this potential breakout here. We're gonna have to wait for a retest of that level here, guys. So gonna remove that post and wait for a retest because it does want to climb higher. I mean, Shreve, you would know a lot about these numbers in XPEV. I was reading some of the report as well this morning. The forecast for Q1 25 is looking pretty good. Quadruple in deliveries, great number. They're also dwindling the debt as well too, so a really good look there.
Flex on it, baby. What do you got?
What do you have for lunch?
I just take this.
All right.
See what you guys are up to.
Hey,
Yeah, we're just chilling out,
we're
man.
doing nothing.
Yeah, we're
Katina, man, nothing that special. You know how it is.
Nice charts.
Yeah, nice charts. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we missed this breakout here, guys. Okay, here we go. We're coming back into the zone. Let's see if we can hold. If it does hold and then price starts to turn around, we're going to get into this trade. And unfortunately, we're going to have to put our stop mid-range. That's okay, because if this breakout is genuine, I think we'll continue to the downside. But we are now giving back the majority of that move and then some. So not looking too good. We want that volume to be sustained. We can see from a level 2 standpoint that we have a slight imbalance on the put side. I mean, on the put side, the bid here. This is always an option, mine. So on the bid here, guys, we have a slight imbalance here on the bid. Keep that in mind. I do like that hood is continuing to hold up as well too. So I'm gonna just stick to names that have been working for me throughout the day. You can see that we took this nice trade here on XPEV, climbed higher. We got the peak here, almost a top tick as we double top here and then continue to move a little bit lower. So nice out on that one. This was my final out here. Otherwise I would have got stopped out break even. And then with hood here as well, folks. Nice hold of VWAP, a nice hold of these trend lines. Unfortunately, we didn't do the VWAP grab how we usually would. Third time's usually a charm here. Let's see if we can break 40-20s. I think that's in the work, especially because now all those out the money contracts at that 40 strike price are now in the money and might start somewhat of a cover rally. That's going to be a positive sign. Tesla looking like it wants to break through VWAP. Not surprised by that, to be honest with you, but I want to stick to strong names, and that's Hood and not XPEV, brother.
All right, we're involved in TIGR. It flat top broke through 930. So I waited for the flat top break, and then it came back down, tested the breakout level, which was 30. That's where we got long, just wet the beak there at 38s. And now I'm waiting at 40s. It's showing me 39s. Let's see if we can weasel up to 40, excuse me. Looks like there is some selling there. I do have planned DCAs for a possible money fill below that 30 penny level. I was anticipating that this one might spike below 30 and then pop right back up. That's why I put the DCA there to account for any price spike down. Here we go. We got about, I want to say, 500-600 lots waiting at 40s. From what I can see, 940 that is on TIGR. I still can't see the full position because we got to get a little bit closer to it. So I'll let you know exactly what the situation is. They're showing 39s again. Let's see if we can get up into that 40 penny level. This one is a bit of a slow mover, and it does have some size, you can tell, at the 39 penny level because we still haven't printed 40s. Now we're showing 40 on the ask, and you can see there's about, a little bit more than 500 lots if we're being honest at this level. So let's see if we can get that pop, and there it is. Now we're going to wait a little bit higher. So now we're going to wait in front of the $0.50 on TIGR. I'm still going to leave my DCA. I like that 930 level. That was a level that was tested multiple times, as I mentioned, initially at 12 p.m., and then we kind of tested it multiple times from 1 until the current time. So let's see if that wants to pop. Still keeping an eye on TIGR here. Not a bad look. Yeah, is Nvidia tanking, or is there something going on?
No, it's still hovering around there, around 117.
Okay, cool.
So.
Yeah, I'm listening to him. I got him in my ear right here. I really can't obviously listen to everything he says, but I know Adira would have chimed in if there were anything big. Yeah, Adara says there's nothing interesting thus far. Stay with us, though. We're going to have the entire thing covered by Jensen. Oh, Lucid is breaking down, so I need to keep an eye out on that. That's a problem. So this is the deepest Lucid's been all day. I don't want it anymore here, so we're going to lose about 3 pennies on that. That's okay. We'll take a little bit of an L there on LCID. So it was 0 for 2 on Lucid. I tried to short, I got it wrong. I tried to go long, I got it wrong, so that's okay. We'll look to do a little bit better next time on LCID. We're still involved here on HMR, waiting for that break through 95. 95 has been on an elusive target. It's kind of really respecting the 10 exponential here. I'm talking about HMR. All the dips into the 10 seem to be bought up, but it's a potential double top. And I'm still concerned here because we had the same look over here from around 10 o'clock till around 10:45, and then we dumped below VWAP, then used VWAP as resistance, and then this looks like it kind of double bottomed with the neckline break there, but we're still unable to continue above that 395, which is technically the high of the day, and obviously by extension of that, we're not able to break through 4. So those are the positions I'm involved in right now, TIGR and HMR. We'll see if we can extract some profits on both these bad boys. Okay. No, nothing yet from Jensen on the GTC news conference, so we'll keep tabs on that. Let's have a look at the MAG, though, Joseph. Let's see what's afoot with the MAG 7 names. Let's bring them in, see what's performing, what's not. Meta continuing to be awfully weak. It has been a love affair today between Meta and the volume-weighted average price. Look at how many times it's been rejecting off VWAP. So VWAP's been an obvious level of resistance for Meta. Amazon's used VWAP in different ways today, both as resistance and support. So retakes it over here during the midday at around 11:30. It takes VWAP, and then it proceeds to use VWAP as support at that 191.50 area. So not a bad look there. What else we got? We got Apple way below the volume-weighted average price. Softy also used VWAP. This was a VWAP day on the MAG, eh? VWAP trade rejection on Softy. That would have given you a couple of bucks, no problem. VWAP straddling, or Google straddling VWAP. Tesla straddling VWAP. Likewise with Netflix and Uber. It's very much a VWAP story today with these MAG 7 names. It looks like Nvidia is destined for that VWAP retracement to the downside. Now breaking down below 117 1/3. VWAP on Nvidia, 116 3/4. Adara, what's the news?
Not Jensen related. He's still talking about tokens, but I think it is worth noting the White House, as mentioned earlier, we're expecting to hear something from the White House with regards to the call earlier today between Trump and Putin. They said that the leaders meeting Trump and Putin apparently agreed that the movement towards peace will begin with an energy and infrastructure ceasefire. Now, when that ceasefire will happen is unclear, but apparently they're agreeing to start talks specifically regarding Black Sea security. So apparently some ceasefire talks are slowly progressing forward, guys. Back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Darryl.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, Sharif, good look there on the MAG 7. They're relatively weak here, my friend. And I mentioned NVDA, and that play is coming in here. So 119 we reject, which was also a previous pre-market low. We ran into that head on, and then we started to reject that. I know Katina Man was short from 118, 119, whatever it may be. But yeah, this is where that options, the options market really comes into play, all right? High levels of open interest. It's now twice that we've seen this exact same scenario on NVDA earnings report, and then now, here as well too. A few little hiccups there. But yeah, so again, let's see if we can hold higher. The thing is, the market wasn't participating as NVDA continued to climb higher. So yeah, you just want to be able to identify that strength. And it's not in the market. What happened is, as you can see, we'll just go over it from a basic technical standpoint here, guys, is to look at this 5-minute opening drive. You hear me often refer to it, so that 5-minute orb type style of play. But one thing that I've noted over the years of trading is that when, from a 5-minute orb standpoint, you crack the pre-market highs or the pre-market lows, there's a high probability that you're going to continue in that direction. And that's the case here. So you can see that we have that definitive pre-market base. We cracked through it with momentum. If you're a 5-minute opening range trader, then you play the break of that 5-minute candle to the downside. So that would have brought you from 478 all the way down to 472. So that would have been a really, really nice 6-point move, whether you're using the TQs or the Qs in itself. All right, so we'll just pull up the TQs to see what we have on from that standpoint. I always forget the second thing is 3x star. What is this thing? Yeah, okay, so yeah, same thing, same look here, guys. So you'd play the break from 61 all the way down to 59, all right? But we are holding trend fairly decently. So we are constructing higher lows, which is a positive sign. If that cracks, then we can potentially see some more downside as well to get there, guys. So that is the trend line that I would be basing a thesis off of. And then we also have these resistance zones here. So you can see that price. It's funny because we are trading in somewhat of a channel. We have a flat top and then we have consistently higher lows. But price isn't necessarily compressing how I would think it would. Those candles are still wide and you still have some whipsaw type price action moves here to the downside through that channel. So yeah, if you're, and I like that, I'm kind of talking myself into a trade right now and I really like it. And this is why I like doing this stuff with you guys. So we're at the bottom end of this channel here, guys. If it continues to hold, then you're good. But if it cracks it, then the thesis is invalid. So I'm gonna look to put on a little something here in the TQs. I know that the overall market is weak here, Sharif. So for a bounce may not be necessarily the one that we're looking for. And it looks like that we're gonna crack it. So maybe I'm going to hold off a little bit because Nvidia is starting to pull through the volume weighted average price. Tesla looks like it wants to drive a little bit lower. Let's see what Google and company is up to. Yeah, putting in a hammer candle, which might not be too bad of a sign on the daily, that is, but still holding the volume weighted average price. We have Meta that is still under the volume weighted average price. And let's take a look at one more here to see if there's any more confirmation. And Apple's heading lower. So a long in the TQs or the Qs isn't going to be the best idea here. In my opinion, you want to see all these big names kind of working in tandem, and that doesn't seem to be the case to the long side. It seems more or less to the short side, Sharif.
All right, QUBT back at the volume weighted average price here. So Joseph was just mentioning something quite important. It feels like it's a very weak market now. Here's 850. This is the volume weighted average price. This is also the breakout area from that 10 a.m., 11 a.m. range. Wow, that's a lot of negativity very quickly here on QUBT. Let's go. Let's give this one the old college try, and then we're going to go down into the low 40s and try to defend it there. We're going to give it a try. I mean, I've been waiting for this QUBT kind of pop all day, drop, excuse me, that is. So let's see if we can extract some profits on this bad boy. I'm going to layer my orders to see if I can get any price spikes to the high side. And there's one, quick as you like, on that VWAP dip currently on QUBT. Let's see if we can get any more to the high side. I'm waiting next at, I believe, 63. So let's see, we're showing 60s now. Let's see if we can get that pop up. 61, 62s, 63. There's the fill, baby. All right, now we're waiting at 69. So QUBT, VWAP bounce, current hammer candle on QUBT. I don't anticipate this one to rocket up or anything like that, so this might be a quick scalp trade, and wham, bam, thank you, QUBT. And the reason I say that is because it had a gnarly downtrend. I mean, it was a very aggressive downtrend. I don't expect it just to shoot up because it got off or it came into the volume weighted average price. So let's go ahead and see how much shares we have left on this bad boy. Yeah, so we're just gonna let this one cook and see what we can get possibly into the high 60s, low 70s there. The other trade that I'm currently involved in, not Lucid, HMR. This one, for whatever reason, man, it just won't fill me at 71s, and I'm just so stubborn. I don't want to lift up my price target there because I kind of feel that that is the level I want to earmark for the volume weighted average price retracement. I'm talking about HMR. I'm also involved in TIGR, and I just got the fill, nice, on the dip trade here. So time to beak with some profits. So let's see if we can get something at 40s. And we'll take out a little bit right there. And then we're going to layer the orders a little bit higher as well for the dip trade on TIGR. Back, though, to QUBT because it's coming right back down into my entry. So I'm out. I'm sick. Okay, so I already took the entire position out right there. Let me just cancel the script order so it doesn't trigger me long. Adara, what is going on up there?
Well, Sharif, we just get a little bit of pop here in the futures off this 474 level. Comments here coming from the U.S. saying that talks for the full Ukraine ceasefire are set to start immediately. So after the call from Putin and Trump earlier today, or between Putin and Trump earlier today, now we have the U.S. saying that talks for a full ceasefire between Ukraine and Russia are set to start immediately. If I see anything else on this, I'll let you guys know. But the market is bouncing a little bit off support as we get that story. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. You need a beak extension, brah, says Showtime one. I like that. I like that. Yeah, we try to keep it light here. You know, we're obviously trading for 3 hours. So, you know, we're going to say some stuff that, yeah, you know, you get it. Yeah.
Definitely say something.
So that's the situation right now. Joseph, did we get the ad? Still didn't get the ad in HMR. Dipped into 75s. Actually, reached it. It went to about 72, 73 there. No ad quite yet, so still packing the patience on that bad boy. Here we go with TIGR. Looking to de-risk a little bit here. If this one can pop up and give me the fill. We already got a quick beak wetter there on TIGR. There it is. Now it's at 34s. Give me that. Give me the cross. It's got to cross 34s for me to get printed. Show me 35s for a quick sec, and that should be enough to get the print. We'll pack our patience. Nothing quite yet there. There is a print. Okay, so quite happy with how we're trading TIGR. Let's see if we can get it a little bit higher. The next level I'm waiting at is 37s. It's showing me 36s now. HMR also popping right back up off that 75 into about 80s. Nah, I'm not going to add here. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to insist that it come into my level. Otherwise, I just won't add. Simple as that. And yeah, so here we go, 37s. This is where I'm waiting now on TIGR. So if we can cross, I'll get the fill there, and then will be waiting likely in front of 50 on this bad boy. TIGR up about 18% today, a little bit less. Let's see if it can take out that high of the day at 942. It's been putting in consistently higher highs and higher lows. Let's see if that trend bang to the high side. Again, very pleased, appreciate you, Joseph, with this trade on TIGR. Let's layer some more orders on this bad boy. No, I don't want that 44 order. I don't want that. That's a bad, it's a bad luck number there, Joseph.
Over the 44s?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? All right.
You know there's no 4 in my building?
Really?
No. There
Wow.
literally is no 4 in my building.
But it used to be 13, and then the buildings just stopped putting
I think
those
it's a
in.
very bad number in the Asian culture,
Yeah.
whereas 8 is a very good
It's
number.
lucky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
I remember Jay Lee or somebody explained it to me before, and I totally forgot because I'm just a forgetful guy. Adam Sharif, are you building scripts while on the show, or is it built-in scripts and adjusting your price of entries and exits? Fantastic question, Adam. So I only use script orders for my outs. I know for my stop losses. I know that I can use EJ. I've just gotten accustomed to using my script orders. That's the only reason I use scripts. I know the algo room, you know exactly where that algo room is, Adam. They're using scripts for all sorts of different reasons. I know that obviously that's down your path, having the algo background and having that amazing company that you're running there as well. And if you are into that kind of thing, message Adam. Great with that. Great trader, great technician, and excellent programmer as well, man. So shout out to ADL, Adam Dang Deluce. We're going to shout him out. Great guy and a good fan of the show. So yeah, to answer your question, Adam, I do not use script orders for anything other than stop losses.
Okay, all right, I agree with that one there, Sharif. Starting to get a bounce here in the market. Didn't catch the lower end of this channel. I'm not going to buy into resistance here unless we get a really big volume spike, and it is Tuesday. So I don't see. I mean, it could happen obviously, and I do like the price action. We are constructing higher lows, which is really positive there, guys. But we got to look at us running into resistance, and we don't necessarily want to be buying into that. All right, so just keep that in mind. I was so close to getting in here at the lower end of the range, but then I seen this little bit of a whipsaw move, and I'm like, it's so slight hesitation on my behalf there. So yeah, gonna be a little bit more patient. We're gonna wait one more time. If we respect this channel one more time, then I promise I will do so to get in, because I believe there could be potentially a good trade here. The risk to reward is going to be very tight. Not gonna give myself very much room. So if I can catch 59.80s and then just risk until about 59.60, so about 10 to 20 cents, I'm going to be roughly giving it. But if the momentum cracks this channel to the downside, then I'll just get out a little bit earlier than I would actually plan to, because of just reading the tape and everything that you can see. But one thing to note here, guys, is that we don't have much buying pressure here, right? So those green candles aren't looking too good. You see the weakness step in to the downside, so on the bids, and then you just hold the channel respectively. So I would want to see some more pressure up on the ask there, guys. So again, a relatively balanced book on the TQ. So yeah, going to be really patient. It looks like we're going to come in to the lower end of this channel, and that's one thing that I want to note as well too. And I think, like, when you're entering trades or whatever it may be, is just ask yourself, where am I wrong, right? Because that's what I do. All day faders. Yeah, I wasn't to interrupt you. No, I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know what was going on. So I didn't. Again, so this is what I do, and I know Neil does it, Sharif does it. You just ask yourself, like, hey, where am I wrong? And again, you don't want to say I'm wrong in the middle of the range, because the underlying asset is continuously trading within that. So you're just going to get stopped out all the time, and you're going to be scratching your head and be like, well, why am I getting stopped out all the time? Well, look where your stop loss is where it's located. So now what you want to do is go, okay, now where am I really, really wrong? And that's going to be at the lower end of this range here, okay? So now it's like step by step. It gets a little bit more detailed as you get more involved in this. But again, if you're just patient and just slowly work out the process, you'll understand that, and then you'll be able to do that in an instant. So now you can see why I'm not buying at the top of this range, because where am I wrong? I'm wrong here at the bottom of this range. That is going to be a hefty loss, and I don't want that. So what can we do? We wait till we get lower to the lower end of the range and still use that same thesis to say, hey, I'm still wrong at the same part, but now my risk to reward is drastically better. And if we're going to trade within this range, it gives me a little room for the underlying asset to continue to appreciate as well too, without me being exactly wrong right within a split second. Because if you're in at 620 and now you're trading lower, you're going to be kind of getting into panic mode. And then when your brain starts really rolling, that's where you kind of make those mistakes and those impulsive moves when you don't necessarily have the good risk to reward.
Yeah, that's some wisdom right there. Tara just messaged me. Listen to this. So your friend Danny Ives there on the chat on CNBC right now, on CNBS, I mean, and he's making statements, Joseph. He says, Wedbush analyst, he meaning Jensen Huang, has a better chance of making the NBA than the chance that DeepSeek actually only spent $6 million on the build out there. Yeah, I mean, you got to kind of suspect a little bit of what was going on.
This guy loves his sports references.
Yeah, of course, bro. You got to make that assumption, Joseph, given the story that broke afterward about Singapore.
Yeah.
The Singapore story kind of was what we were all suspecting, is that they had a backdoor. We just didn't know what the backdoor was, whether it was the UAE, Saudi, Singapore. Somebody was giving China these H100s, maybe not en masse, maybe not in the way that Amazon got them or Meta got them, but definitely something a lot more than what was reported. And so, I mean, it was hard to kind of go against what DeepSeek said. I didn't have the technical knowledge to be able to disprove them, but you kind of got the story afterwards as more information came out about the nature of these.
I think along the lines, it was kind of like macroeconomic warfare as well too. I don't know if you look at it from that perspective, but Dan Ives was in China not too long ago. So, but he obviously probably didn't see what was going on with DeepSeek, but he was there not too long ago, and I agree with him. I think it's just a little bit. See, that it's the common saying, Sharif. If it's too good to be true, it probably is, right? So that's just
Vizbot's trolling everybody in Toronto, bro.
What do you say?
Do you think Jensen's going to the Raptors? They need some help at the moment.
Oh my God! He said, he said Jensen to the Lakers. Nice.
Jensen to the Lakers. Did you see that beef between Stephen A. and LeBron?
No.
What?
No.
Yeah, apparently LeBron approached him at a game. I don't know if it was a Lakers game or what, but Stephen A. was courtside.
Yeah.
And Stephen A. had talked about LeBron's kid. What's his name again?
Bronny.
Bronny James.
Call
His
him
name is
Bronny.
Bron. Yeah. And he had made statements about, basically,
shouldn't be in the NBA.
And then LeBron came up and was just like, keep my kid's
Name.
keep your kids, my kid's name out of your mouth.
Yeah.
So you can't really fault LeBron for being a dad.
No,
there.
exactly.
He's a dad.
He went dad mode, right?
Yeah, he went dad mode there. But now, with respect to the actual validity of that comment, can you really argue with that? I mean, I'm not a basketball guy, but doesn't seem to be a whole lot of love for Bronny James.
LeBron James Jr.
Yeah.
Does not deserve to be in the NBA. It's that simple.
That
But
simple.
if your dad is LeBron James, it doesn't matter. He's gonna put you in there.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, there's like.
Do we think
yeah,
that patronage and nepotism doesn't exist?
Right?
Now?
To the fullest.
Like,
That's a full
yeah.
display of it right there.
Right?
But I mean, to give credit to kind of those father-son, like I wouldn't say duos. It happened like it never happened in the history of the NBA.
No,
Father
not
and
the
a son
NBA,
playing
yeah.
together, which is pretty cool. But then you look at the likes of Dell Curry, right? Steph is better than Dell by like light years.
Yeah.
And he just, I believe he hit 4,000 threes. I think he just hit that milestone not too long ago.
insane.
So he just like revolutionized the game of
insane.
basketball.
My favorite, Neil, you might want to chime in on this. If my favorite was Ken Griffey Sr. and Ken Griffey Jr. In the outfield for the Mariners.
That's
that
pretty
one
cool.
was sick for me. Because I'm a big Ken Griffey Jr. fan. That left-hander, bro, I'm gonna tell you.
Oh, yeah?
Whew, Ken Griffey. What was his name again? The Kid? It was the Kid, right? Yeah, the Kid. There's Neil right there, baby. He's doing his thing. Shout out to Neil Roberts. He'll be on shortly. Let's see what everybody's chiming in on there. 117, Katia, man. You're a couple of dollars in the money there.
Bang.
So we'll hit uno, dos. Katina, man. $2 on the money. On the blockchain, he pulled a Will Smith. Keep my son's name out your mouth. Pretty Panda, yo, just stopping by, bought a 3,500 square foot house 2 weeks ago, and I'm totaling it so you won't see me every day anymore. Nice to see you, boys. Guess I was lucky selling in Jan. Shout out to Pretty Panda, man. We miss you around here, brother. I think you're in Europe, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure you're in Norway. If I got that wrong, let me know. Good to see you again, Pretty, and congratulations on the house. Obviously, we wish you all the best with that. And yeah, hey, when you're done renovating that bad boy, make sure to send us some pictures there. We'd love to be able to kind of shout you out there. Shout out to Thomas Johnson as well. Bronny is a joke, says Pathek. Curry is the GOAT, says Blue Arrow. James Dell, LeVar Ball is right. Superstar kids never live up to their dad's star power. Adara was just watched. Apparently, she just kind of found out about the whole ball.
That's not true. Again, I just gave it.
You knew about that?
I just gave an example of the son being better than the father with Dell Curry and Steph. So
good point.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not always the case, right? It's obviously hard to live up to your father's expectations and then exceed them, right? Being a pro athlete. It's like, dude, there's only like 300 players in the NBA. So you have to be like 0.00001% of the best players on the planet to make the NBA. That's why they make so much money.
Of course, bro. I mean,
why they make
I'm not hating
so
on
much.
Bronny at all. I really don't
exactly.
mean it that way, guys.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
No, we're not saying that you mean it that way. But just to add to that point, obviously what you said, that nepotism at its finest, and that's the case here with LeBron James. I mean, what's Michael Jordan's son? I'm pretty. He didn't even make it to the NBA, and he played pro ball and everything. Yeah, exactly. So if anybody's gonna make it, then you would think empty.
All right, there does seem to be breaking news. I'm seeing it there, but I'm going to save it for Adara. Take it over, Adara.
Yeah, GM just popping up here nicely. Nvidia saying that they're partnering with GM for AI-related automotive safety. Apparently the program's called Halo. So this looks like a bit of a pop and drop here, but GM on watch here, collaborating for next generation vehicle experiencing and manufacturing, to actually quote the press announcement itself. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. Do appreciate that. Guys, we're doing well here on Tiger yet again. I'm very happy with this trade. We entered 27s. We just went the beak there at 45s, still holding a piece. Gonna let this one go. It's been very respectful of the 10. I don't know where to take profit, so I'm just gonna let it go, and then wherever this bad boy is at 2 o'clock when I gotta get up off this desk, I will flatten out there. But a good look. Shout out to Pretty Panda. He wants to bug me one time before he leaves, and you're not bugging me, pretty. Trust me, you're not. This is my job. In addition to that, you're asking me about small cap gappers. So you're in my good books, baby. This is curling up, pretty. And this one was on my S list because it was a umpteen amount of lower high with that flat bottom that manifested around that $8 area, and then we got a 7.25 print. It looks as if we're breaking trend, but that's only really respecting my own trend line. It looks like we are above VWAP, breaking trend. I'd like to see how we trade above 8 as well, obviously, an area resistance. You can see that from earlier as well from over here. So I'd say don't be quick to jump into this until we clear 8, but we broke that lower high pattern. Adara, what's going on now?
So some more context here for GM, that this pop, additionally, I mentioned earlier the AI, I guess, collaboration aspect. Maybe the bigger aspect here for GM is that Jensen Huang said that GM has actually chosen Nvidia to build its self-driving car fleet. So Nvidia being chosen here to back and help GM build their self-driving car fleet. We know self-driving cars are really all the rage right now in terms of market catalysts and things to watch. So here's NVDA, but keep an eye on GM with their self-driving car fleet catalyst pairing with really the best in the bunch here, NVDA. Back to you.
Yeah, that actually be really interesting there, Dara. We're definitely going to keep tabs on that. I'm watching it right now. They're showing a Mercedes-Benz commercial for whatever reason. We'll keep an eye out on that. They're kind of showing their Cosmos system. This is apparently their self-driving system. I think they've called it Cosmos. I could be wrong about that. They're talking about that at the moment. Very interesting stuff. Eddie R., Sharif. When a Sharif roast Trader TV special, oh boy, man. Can you imagine we did that? A roast for each and every one of us.
God.
Oh, feelings would get hurt for sure.
Yeah, I would need a couple wobbly.
Adara could help. Yeah, well, we could help with you too, Adara.
I would need a couple wobbly pops in order to get involved with that.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a ubiquitous thing. We all get roasted. We can't just anticipate one person to get roasted. Yeah. So
yeah,
it
just
would work
roast one person, right? And then to end it there. Just like, yeah, I'd say we're done.
I think that would be quite interesting, but it would be definitely, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about that.
Neil says that would be a ton of fun. He's locked in. Yeah,
need to
exactly.
lock in a comedian. Yeah, we definitely need a comedian. Yeah, Neil's coming in, baby.
There you go. He's mic'd up there.
He's coming in.
Let's do. Oh, there we go. No, I'm down with that. You can't take yourself too seriously, man. Come on now. I would love to. I love the roasts because everyone knows what's going to happen and it's all in good fun. And you know what's going to get said about you. People are going to mock like the things we repeat over and over again. I always call myself old, like the same sort of nonsense that you usually fall into and get repetitive because we're doing this every single day.
There you go.
I'm down with it. The only thing is you have to get a legit comedian as part of the thing, right? Because it'd be jokes for us to be able to do it, but you also want to have a true comedian be able to pull it off, which I'm willing to bet because we have such a huge community that someone in here, someone in our community is a comedian and has done stand-up, which I would love to know if somebody has. The other thing is, watch the quantum stocks right now. Quantum, SMCI, like the things that are moving along with Nvidia, pretty easy sympathy plays. So if Nvidia makes another tank, just look for them to make another leg down. They all reverted to VWAP when Nvidia did, and you could have waited for Nvidia to go and then jump into them. So I think there's plenty of sympathy moves in this trade right now. See you in a bit.
Thank you very much for that, Neil. I definitely agree there. Your comment's hilarious. Can't understand sarcasm. The roast will roll off my back. All right. Shout out. You know who would be really good, I think, in a roast? I don't think you met him. You ever meet Fahad?
No, I never met Fahad.
You never met Feifei?
No, Feifei.
Oh, where is he at? There he is. Get it. I think he'd be fantastic.
Oh, I seen him on the show, when I watched a couple times. Yeah.
He had that kind of sense of humor where, he would be roasting up a storm, and
I love dry humor. That's what I think is actually absolutely hilarious.
Say that again?
Dry humor?
Yeah, the best humor.
The best. It's so funny.
English humor, baby.
Yeah.
3-7.
The English are the funniest people. There's this show called People Just Do Nothing or something along those lines. It is about these two guys who run like this nothing radio station, and they think they're like these hip hop stars. I think it's called People Just Do Nothing, and it's like I can watch that show over and over and over again and find it absolutely hilarious just because of the humor.
All right, we are going to Adara. There is breaking news from the Nvidia conference.
Yeah, I guess deuce is not the right way to word this, but Mobileye, it's worth noting, dropping here pretty aggressively, 28% short float. No catalyst that I can find on this, but just be aware here. It could be potentially a reaction to these self-driving car fleet from GM. We know that Mobileye does work in that space. It's also worth noting here, though, that Nvidia has, as of right now, or when I say Nvidia, I mean Jensen Huang, they've announced partnerships with the following companies: T-Mobile, TMUS, Cisco, CSCO, Booz Allen here, Booz Allen Hamilton, or BAH, T-Mobile, TMUS, as mentioned earlier. Yeah, so Cisco, Booz Allen Hamilton, and T-Mobile, all partnering here with Nvidia, as announced thus far by Jensen Huang. Of course, GM as well partnering with Nvidia to build out its self-driving car fleet. So quick recap right now. If I see anything on Mobileye that is concrete, I will let you know. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. Jensen standing in front of what looks to be a bunch of different servers right now. Google, Oracle, HP, Asus, Meta, Giga, something or another. Each and every server, I guess, is earmarked or is what the current company is using. So this is very server related, or so it seems. So maybe keep an eye on SMCI. SMCI is dropping aggressively up. I know Neil was short SMCI because it broke trend. Great trade there, Neil. Just dropped into 39.50. So my hunch was right. I feel this was server related. Keep your eye on HPE as well as Dell. These are all server plays, AI server plays. So I think Jensen is chiming in right now about hyperscaler data centers and servers, obviously. So good reaction there from SMCI, which is retracing the entire move down. 39.50, it dropped. It's moving right back into that $40 area. Let me bring in the chart. Sorry, I don't know why I'm just talking about it without showing it. SMCI is a ticker I'm talking about, super microcomputer. That was the big boy drop there when he was mentioning the servers for the first time. There's a 1 minute chart. Let's see what Dell did, if Dell did anything on that. No, not really. I mean, it dropped a little bit. How about HPE? So it seems more SMCI. Nothing here on HPE. So it's an SMCI story for the moment with respect to these servers. But yeah, SMCI broke trend. I saw Neil post this in the chat a little bit earlier on. I'm assuming he had a trend line drawn connecting these lows, and it broke trend. So I'm pretty sure he got short. You got around 40, 50, 40, 60, Neil? Yeah, he's going to show his chart there in a second, but he is short SMCI. Yeah, we're only a couple of minutes away anyway, so he's got 64s. Yeah, I kind of figured that because that's where trend broke. So shout out to Neil. Great trade there, brother. Short SMCI. Jensen's holding up something. There he is. I love when he does this, bro. When he has the servers and like it's so exciting when he does that. Last time in his little Blackwell thing, he was so happy about the whole thing. And then it overheated and he couldn't deliver any. So too bad.
Yeah, I know. So Masayoshi is gonna have to wait a little bit.
He's out. Neil's done his SMCI trade, covered short there. Shout out to Neil. Great trade. We're gonna keep an eye out, obviously, on the Nvidia conference. It continues to go into the big boy show. Adara is at the big desk. She's covering the whole thing, and we're gonna have all the information for you guys about the SMCI conference, which is now basically not been very good to Nvidia, Joseph, because we were around 118 and change when this conference started. Now we are in the 116s. If I can show the chart, below the volume weighted average price, we do have support here. This is an interesting look here on Nvidia. Multiple support levels at that 116.50 on NVDA, but what's operative, in my opinion, Joseph, is these lower highs that we've been kind of putting in there. So triple bottom, yes, Jimmy Emond. I'm kind of seeing the same thing you are there, triple bottom, but don't forget, it could be a descending wedge, right? Where we know that we get lower highs with the descending wedge with that flat bottom, so it could end up being a flat bottom break. Joseph, I got a couple of positions on here. We're going to flatten out this trade on TIGR, so we'll take it out there at the high of the day. I'm quite happy with this trade. This one, though, still undecisive as to how this finishes. Do you think this breaks the top, or do we break down? What's your look there, Joseph?
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a little bit of a tough one. It looks like it wants to go right now. There is some support levels as well too. The thing is just watch out for those higher lows there. Lower highs there.
Lower highs,
yeah, the lower highs as you continue to see with every push up. Okay, there you go. Now you just broke through it. So now I think you get the
waiting. We've been waiting.
I think you get that print now, considering that you sat on top of that range. So nice look there,
brother. All right, it is now 2 o'clock. We can hang out for a little bit longer if you'd like. Katina's not here.
I'm gonna pop up. He's not. Oh, I'm covering for Katina, man. Yeah, I'm covering Katina, man. Yeah.
Why didn't you just go, bro?
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna head over
totally
there.
forgot about that. All right, guys.
over there.
I will see you guys very shortly at the green screen. For now, we're gonna send you over to the Neil, and there's a special guest coming up, like you don't know. Take care, guys.
What's up, everybody? Look, obviously Jensen's talking right now. Brian Shannon had our good friend Brian Shannon was going to be on the aftermarket show with me. Had a good quote. He basically, or he tweeted out or posted on X, essentially saying it's Charlie Brown gobbledygook. If you've never watched